Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming to you out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, Season 30, Wasteland.
I was about to say, are we in the studio or are we in the wasteland?
We are just starting our adventure into the Wasteland. And joining me today is the Wasteland Band, Jordan Frost.
Hello, Elliot.
And BT Calloway.
Well, howdy there.
And thank you for joining us. Yes, this is the Simpsons Index. Normally, podcast, watch and review, 3 episodes, Simpsons twist. Each episode comes from a different decade normally. But again, we're flipping the script. We're journeying back into the Wasteland.
Oh boy. Hooray.
Just to let you know what's going on, we've done 2 Wasteland specials in the past where we did the Teenage Wasteland, where we did some of the most mediocre episodes of the teen era, and we also did the HD Wasteland, same again, but for the HD. And now we're splitting it up. We're doing it a bit different because we haven't done any Season 30 episodes yet on the Index.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were trying to figure out, like, where
Yeah,
they're
do we
at.
need a 4th decade?
Yeah. So yeah, now that they've announced that Season 31 and 32 are a thing, I've decided, yeah, it's going to be a new decade. Still haven't settled on a name for it yet, so it's going to be the 30s or the Disney era or the Depression.
Yeah,
Dirty
as suggested
30s.
by Captain Nick of Pods of the Key of Springfield, I believe.
Yep. So in this first part, we're going to do 4 Season 30 episodes back to back. And in the next part, coming out next week for you, it'll be the same day for us.
Haha, that's why the madness will be happening.
Next week, we'll be doing 3 Treehouse of Horrors from the HD era, tying in with Mayoween. But enough of that for now. Let's get into the Season 30 Wasteland. How are we feeling, guys?
I'll be brief. I'm furious!
I made a note at the bottom of the page. This episode makes me want to start fires.
I'm so mad.
Well, someone needs to pick up the mantle now that Keith Flynn has passed away.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, but,
He is BT Calloway, twisted BT Calloway. So
we can't be this insane already. We've only just stepped into the wasteland.
all right. Well, yes, taking our first step into the Wasteland, I thought it'd be appropriate that we do the first episode of Season 30, Bart's Not Dead. First released in September of 2018, directed by Bob Anderson, written by Stephanie Gillis. In this episode, Bart takes a dare from the bullies and takes a massive fall into a concrete slab, and then to appease Marge or whatever, he says he went to heaven, and then they make a movie based on it. Guys, what'd you think?
2 notes. My first is, ah! And my second, I'm pretty sure this is a rip on Heaven is for Real, which was a movie about pretty much this thing where
Yeah, a young boy said he saw heaven, and this is what it was like, and they made a really famous book and then a movie out of it that sold lots of copies.
There we go. It's referencing something.
Yep.
This fucking sucked.
This was atrocious, man. Like that first act is just this scattershot of nonsense. Like,
I cannot believe how disjointed it was. I was like, is this a part of a dream sequence? Because there was it went from place to place to place. Like, there was the shot where Marge is on a cruise, like a Mother's Day cruise with Bart.
Bart imagining, being a mama's boy forever, but it's not set up in any way. You kind of just cut to it rather than dream bubble.
It's not.
Like,
Yeah,
why
there's
didn't
no
we go "Blululum, dream bubble? And that would have made sense that he's like picturing his future as a mama's boy or some bullshit.
It was one of the Family Guy, like that time when jokes, where except it just cut straight to it.
At least Family Guy
no
had
context.
this set up of it's like that time when.
Yeah.
This just smash cuts to this future, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is a dream.
But yeah, and it's what stands out to this episode for me is this first act where, usually with the classic episodes that we really adore, the Cubic Zirconia ones, we're like, oh my God, that was so breakneck with the jokes, but at the same time, it was cemented in something. This one just jumped from scene to scene to scene, like Bart's in the hall and then all of a sudden he's in the principal's office. Why did Skinner know that Bart decided not to also? And then all of a sudden Homer's tucking him in bed, and then all of a sudden Marge is driving him in a car.
Really, this smash cut where Skinner tells Homer and Marge that, hey, Bart didn't pull a prank for once. Good for him. And Bart's like, I did the right thing, right? And Homer's like, yes, you did. Smash cut to him tucking him into bed, being, no, you didn't do the right thing. Like, I thought this was a flashback.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a random smash cut. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess, what?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's in the car with Marge and it's the next day and it's like, yeah, one of my notes is like, slow down.
Yeah. And then it cuts to just him on a swing and them going, so here you're looking for a dare. And like, who Why? Why?
At
Where
what
did
point
that come
ever?
from?
And that's the thing. The core of this is fine in the sense that Bart refusing to take a prank and then people making fun of him for refusing a dare
Yeah.
actually makes a lot of sense and is a fine plot point. But it's just presented in such this scattershot nonsense that is so hard to keep up with. And that's after having possibly been some of the most versed people in The Simpsons that I've ever met.
Yeah.
We were still all like, what the fuck is going on?
BT, what stands out to you from this episode?
Okay, now the thing that's going to stand out to me is how much this episode ignores its own past. So at the very end, there's this almost good bit where, Lisa comes in to comfort Bart after all the shit's gone down, and he's up on the roof recapping the Thanksgiving episode where Bart runs away, and they go up on the roof and they have that moment. So for like a fleeting tenth of a second, this episode has a memory. And then it immediately ruins it by Lisa going, well, I think God would do this and that. It's like, Lisa is a Buddhist. She does not believe in God. We know this. It's been done.
Oh, also forgetting their own past. Okay, apparently Marge's dad had one leg.
Yeah, and like Marge's dad had one leg. There's a bit where he's like, how do you cope with all this? Marge's like, blind faith and wine. It's like, this has never been Marge's thing in the last 30 fucking years.
No, think back to the Hank Scorpio episode.
Yeah, where she's like,
Doctors say you should have a glass of wine a day, but I can't drink that much.
yeah. Oh, just...
And then all of a sudden in this episode, she's fucking swigging the bottle.
Yeah. But then if you think about it, she's had to live in the Simpsons universe for 22 years now, following that episode.
Yeah.
Getting gradually worse and worse and worse, and you would take to drink.
I will actually say
if that was you.
I will actually say Julie Kavner actually sounded a bit better in this episode than other episodes, recent episodes we reviewed.
Yeah, so maybe you got a vocal masseur.
AKA Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And I found another bit. They're all like, you can take Flanders bowling. Oh, maybe I'll get a 72. It's like, Flanders is a good bowler because he was part of the Holy Rollers.
Yes. And also in this moment, I'm like, why is Bart doing this to Homer? The story has been set up that they're both in on this.
Yep.
Lie. Why is Bart putting this in jeopardy just to...
I figured it was because he's in front of all these movie producers, so he can't get angry at me and tell people I'm lying now, so I'm just going to fuck with him. At least it's not the worst dicky thing. It's like, oh yeah, Homer has to go coat himself in honey and jump into a beehive. Like, he's just saying, oh, you have to go and like hold his hand while he's riding with you and stuff. But it's still stupid.
Yeah, but it makes sense if Homer's not in on it with Bart. Like, this is just Bart randomly putting this lie in jeopardy just to get a dig at Homer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part that I was like angry that they didn't remember their own history, this long extended bit where Homer doesn't understand how acting works.
Oh.
And it's all like, oh, you were acting. Can you put your hand up when you're acting? Oh, Marge, why do you have your hand up? Can you twirl your foot while you're also...
And constantly wink, yeah.
Oh, and it's like...
Marge, why are you looking so weird?
It's like the shitty parallel version of Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
That was exactly in my note. Bad Mr. Thompson. How about you, Jordan? What stands out to you from this episode?
Bart is fucking dead. I know that... we know that...
The title of the episode and the movie that is in the episode is Bart's Not Dead,
Yeah. So we know that Homer is a god, or perhaps a demigod, whatever. So, wait, does that make Bart like a semi-demigod? Thank you.
Nice. Semi-demigod.
He jumps off like 40, 50 meters. How high is that thing? Doesn't
It's
matter.
pretty fucking
He
far.
lands on concrete on his face, and he's not even got a bruise on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wakes up from the coma and is like, I'm fine, Mom.
Get fucked. So that's why I want to think that this episode is just his like Jacob Ladder kind of style ending. He's just dead, and this is what he thinks the rest of his life would go like.
It excused the bad plotting in the second half of the episode, but not in the first half.
See, that's the one almost good thing I liked was at the end, they're all holding signs like, kill the father or whatever. Sideshow Mel is there with a sign that just said, the second half dragged.
Wow.
Which is meta to an extreme degree.
Again, that same scene, though, it was so breakneck, and all of a sudden Homer does this half-baked speech which resolves everything, and it's no satisfaction.
But even then, we go from a scene where Bart confesses to Marge that he made it all up, and then smash cut to this press conference where everyone's angry at them, and there's no announcement to the general public that, oh, we made this up. It's just implied, but not even stated. It's just, it's frustrating and stupid.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can take the implication that, yeah, these certain plot beats happened, but it's not good story writing to
It's
skip
just awful
over them.
pacing, and
Yeah.
it's like,
It's too quick. Like, you're trying to fit too much in. This episode would have been better served to fucking chop the episode in half, because that's what it sort of felt like to me, these two halves, and just extend and exist in the story beats that were meant to happen rather than, oh, the audience will get that happened.
This is the season opener. You're like, hey, we're celebrating. This is episode 1 of season 30.
Yeah.
Isn't this great? This show's been around for so long at this kind of quality. Can you believe it?
This won the Writers Guild of
Fuck
America Award for Outstanding Animation.
Okay.
Now, I decided to
alright.
look into this award because this sort of comes up a lot in my research. I don't often mention it because it's like, why would that episode win? I've noticed the Writers Guild of America award in the animation category is so heavily stacked in The Simpsons' favor. There are at least 5 years where Simpsons, there are 5 entrants for them and no one else.
What?
For the Writers Guild of America. Simpsons have been nominated over 50 times when a lot of other shows haven't even cracked double digits yet. Play count. How many times before today have you seen this episode?
I'm deleting the only time I have from what is my memory now.
I never would have watched this before, and I never will again.
So I've seen this once. Now, the funny thing about doing a Simpsons podcast is it really doesn't put you in the mood to watch new Simpsons.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
as it stands right now, this is still the only episode from season 30 that I've seen.
Are we changing that today?
Yep.
I gotta quickly watch one of the episodes so that I can say I've watched it once and you haven't, so that
Yeah.
I win.
We all dream of winning one day.
Oh fuck, we don't have a classic one to relax with afterwards.
It's
gonna
all
be-
rage.
This is gonna be.
Why, it's all terror in the wasteland.
All right, let's talk quickly about some wackiness. What are the wacky things, the cartoony moments that stood out to you?
Fuck, like all of it.
Yeah, I think all cartoony moments were in that front section, which was sort of pretty well covered. There was a nice bit of animation with Bart looking at the fire alarm and then it turns into Lisa.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of like that as a manifestation of his conscience.
To quickly touch on the parts I liked, there was a balloon that says, "Dare you to get better." That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
we dare
Oh,
you
yeah.
to get better. The bullies, sign
Yeah,
the bullies.
what
yep.
else have I got that's an up arrow here?
Oh, Lisa's devil voice was pretty good.
That was just a whole weird scene. And then she
Yeah, it was a weird
pulls
scene.
that face and she gets stuck like
Why
that.
did it get stuck? They had it.
The
They just...
wind changed, Elliot, obviously.
Oh, inside a house. Wackiness. Oh, Dr. Hibbert pulling a burrito out of the thing. That's a bit wacky, but fuck that joke also.
Where Homer's like, "Did you see Abraham Lincoln?" "Yes." "And no other presidents?" "No." "Oh, then it was heaven."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That ties into the good place. What famous people are in the bad place? He goes, well, all the presidents, except Lincoln. Yeah. So, yeah. What other wackiness? Oh, that stupid acting bit. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, the whole audition sequence was such a fucking
And such
misfire.
a fucking waste of their guest stars as well.
Yeah, let's run through them quickly. So, doing the whole hand up to remind me that you're acting was
Being Marge.
Emily Deschanel from Bones, who is also related to Zoe Deschanel.
Yep. Doing a decent Marge as well.
Yeah, wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
her Marge voice was all right.
There was a weird joke with her on the red carpet where she was like, "We don't get along in real life," which I kind of liked.
No,
Yeah.
I wrote that as an up arrow. I got a chuckle out of that.
Yeah, they do squinty eyes at each other and
Yeah.
walk separate directions. Yeah.
And auditioning for Lisa was Gal Gadot.
Yep.
Which, I got to point this out, she mentions, I was in Wonder Woman, and Homer's like, when I see the DC logo, I fall asleep.
Burn.
First of all, very rich of you to say. And then second, he goes, "Can't you use your lasso to something?" And it's like, you wouldn't know that. You just said you didn't watch the fucking movie.
Maybe
Yeah.
he reads the comics.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was going to be my
He
anal
saw
corner.
the DC logo. He would have fallen asleep.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
they're on the front of every comic.
Immediately, Yeah.
How'd you like Gal Gadot's performance anyway?
She didn't really have anything to do.
I
so
think
it's
she
hard to
felt awkward in the booth. I felt awkwardness from her. It was fine.
Well, imagine trying to ask, okay, so what am I doing in this scene? Well, you're auditioning to play Lisa, but I'm much older than her. No,
Yeah.
but you're doing this in a semi-religious film where your one line is, "Who wants hamburgers?"
Yeah, just to make a joke of, this is shit Lisa wouldn't do.
How unbelievably confused would you be as an actor trying to figure out how you're supposed to deliver this line?
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and sing because I can't. And then
Yeah,
Lisa.
because Lisa sings all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, one of her traits.
That's the opening sequence, is she's in the band singing.
Yeah. Oh, that reminded me another bit of wackiness. What the fuck was up with Millhouse?
Oh, that
Why?
fucking bit of
Why did he have a perm?
Oh, the bit at the start.
And why was he tap dancing to Lisa's
Yeah,
sad
it's like,
Jack
was
solo?
he
Jax?
supposed to be there?
Yeah, Lisa's like, "Who wants a happy song? Here's a sad song." Millhouse, first of all, doesn't sing, and it's like, "Why do I pick flowers with only 2 petals? Fuck you. Fucking
Like,
stop
was he,
wasting my
it
time."
was so confusing because was he meant to be there as part of her act? And if not, then
Why was he
he
dressed
there?
like that?
And if so, then why did he not realize he had a flower? It was just so fucking confusing.
It was like it was meant to be misleading, and that was the comedy. What is comedy? Question
It
mark.
was like the misdirect into nothing.
Yeah.
But it's the equivalent of going, hey, do you want some salt? Oh, no, thanks. Haha, I unscrewed the top, but I didn't use any. Ha!
I'm having coffee.
It's like you're sitting there going, do you know how jokes work?
Actually, fun tip. If you ever have a coffee that's too bitter, don't put sugar in it because then you just get bitter, sugary, sweet coffee.
Put your dick in it.
That too. No, if you add a few like grains of salt, that actually combats the bitterness and you will
Really?
like it a bit better.
There we go. Salt. You fucking rule.
Salt's fucking great. I love salt.
Also, acting in The Simpsons family was Jonathan Groff playing Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
He's mostly known as being a Broadway star, and he played King George in Hamilton for a very long run. I think he would have been there when we saw it.
Sweet.
So, yeah, he was an amazing talent and did well, but the song was so nothing and shit.
Yeah, I hated this. I wish Phil had been here for this episode because this is just a combination
I'm
of...
not going to lie. I don't know if Phil would have survived. Like, he would have been having a bad time. Then they started singing. That might have been the end of it.
He might have actually turned to Elliot and started choking you to death for showing him this.
We're very seasoned with the Wasteland. We know what we're getting into.
This is not our first rodeo in the Wasteland.
The Wasteland is not for amateurs. And just quickly, Dave Attell and Pete Holmes, comedians that played a couple of the film producers that came around for that prayer meeting.
Pete Holmes
is a comedian. I'm actually not a big fan of him.
Oh, he did all the Badman videos.
All right. I like one of
him?
those.
Yeah, he had his own show.
But kind of points out all the things that are bad about him.
Yeah, plays him really dumb. And he did those Street Fighter Red Tape videos. They're pretty funny. It was one where he just plays Batman is really stupid.
Yeah.
He sees Two-Face, but he keeps seeing him from one side. He's like, scary face, what did you do with
Harvey, thank God. Two-Face around here somewhere.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
No, I prefer the one where he's just talking in double entendres the entire time.
Oh, yeah. And there's one where he goes in to interrogate the Joker, but they've swapped two clowns. One was just drunk at a birthday party, and one is the Joker and another one. And so he's just beating the shit out of this birthday clown, which you wouldn't really appreciate, but it's pretty good.
That's okay. Being a clown is a very distant memory for me. But, and Dave Attell as well, who is just such a seasoned comedian. It's just... I think you said it, Beach. This is just such a waste of so many guest stars because they were nothing parts.
Yeah, they should have had Amy Schumer in to steal his jokes more. Bird! Got you, Amy Schumer.
Yeah, that's like somewhere Amy Schumer is just like, ow.
Heart! Did this episode have any of it?
Keep moving.
No. It could have. That's the sad thing.
Yeah.
It could have done a bit better reconciliation or a bit more about his near-death experience making him closer to Marge and wanting to be better or something. I don't know.
It was just one of those things where this episode had so many points that one thing that could have been the emotional core was never the point.
Yeah.
And that Marge barely had a reaction to Bart confessing is so unsatisfying with this.
She's probably so jaded by now. Plus, she had probably just downed a bottle of wine beforehand. So she
that's
was
the
just
thing we have to
numb.
factor in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Season 30 onwards, Marge is probably drunk.
Yeah. That's why she's so yellow. All the liver damage.
This should be the wasted land.
It really should be.
I've been drinking too. So.
Yeah, I need to crack open a bottle of wine myself. But yeah, and also the emotional call with Lisa on the rooftop. That was so nothing. And Homer's
I
speech...
was so close to being something.
And Homer's speech at the end was just plot functioning.
The thing is, he's been such a dick the whole episode. It's so shallow and it's so see-through.
And especially the point where Homer takes over Bart's lie. It's
Yeah.
it's not really Bart's fault anymore.
Yeah.
Once the adult takes over, and he knows full well, it's not that he's profiteering off Bart's lie like he might have done in any other episode.
Just to go back a second as well, there's no confirmation that Homer knows that Bart is lying because he says in his head, come up with a conceivable lie to get us out of this one or whatever.
Yeah.
But then Bart just starts talking. There's no reason why for Homer to say, oh, yeah, good, you read my thoughts. He just goes with it.
Well, he knows you can read my thoughts, boy.
It's true.
Yeah, it's an absence of heart, this one, but ultimately, did this feel
No.
like an episode of The Simpsons?
This was like someone put an episode of Simpsons in a blender and then loaded that into a shotgun and shot me with disappointment.
It just shits on a lot of canon. It shits on a lot of the characterization. And that first act was so all over the place. And I don't think I've ever seen an episode. Like, we've
No.
seen ones where it's got
rapid fire.
ADHD, right?
But this one was...
But this went into a new dimension.
Yeah, this
in
was
terms of just
ADHD
strange.
that was also incredibly disjointed, and so many things that just like, wait, what?
It was like the thing is, like, every 15 seconds, they'd cut 5 seconds out.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
you don't know how these scenes are supposed to be joined. It was
Yeah.
just...
So yeah, the pacing of the show is all off, and like we've already mentioned a bunch of character moments that are broken, like Marge and Bart and
Grandpa Bouvier.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, okay, that can be a new detail, whatever, but what function does it serve?
Yeah. Actually, Anal Corner.
Anal Corner!
He says, I wouldn't know. He was wearing a beekeeper outfit. Well, a beekeeper outfit would still cover his leg. Like,
Yeah.
how does she know that means
And
he's
why
lying?
is Bart not stupid enough to go, well, in heaven he had all his fingers
Yeah, exactly.
to say he got it back?
God. Another Anal Corner that just says,
Another Anal Corner.
stupid joke.
Gotta narrow that down.
Apparently being Christian just makes you talk like that, like Flanders.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
all diddly oodly whatever.
And there's a dumb as fuck bit where they're like, we want to turn this into a movie. Oh, look, a Flanders. Oh, do you want to write the movie? It's like, surely you already have people for this.
Yeah. What was the idea behind this movie studio? Because they said, oh, it's tipped to rake in $100 million or something. And I'm guessing it still made a lot of money. What was
Yeah.
the budget? Because the costumes were dumb as
Yeah.
shit.
Well, they spent it all on other Deschanel and Gal Gadot.
Yeah. But why did they have like bald wigs with Simpson hair when they've got hair? Why did Gal Gadot have to wear like a bald wig with like weird Lisa hair on it? Like, why couldn't she have just styled her hair like Lisa?
And why are any of these big name A-list Hollywood actors doing a fucking Christian movie where they even made a point about how low budget and shit they are at the
Yep.
start?
They got dared to win a frankincense Oscar.
See, that would have been
would've-
funny.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot gets a call from H. It's like, I'm not doing that. I dare you. Just for a
Yeah.
continuation of
Yeah.
the bit.
No, totally.
Are we done yet? I want to be done.
Would you watch it again?
Fuck no.
BT, what would you change?
Everything. There is the seed of a decent idea in this. Bart refuses a dare and then gets shunned by the school for that. That is the only salvageable part. There is somewhere else entirely to go with this. Everything about this is so disjointed and confusing and bad and terrible, and everything sucks.
Jordan, what would you change?
You know what? I would make an episode out of that first 5-10 minutes. Just make it about the whole episode that Bart refused a dare and the repercussions of that. His friends won't talk to him anymore,
Yeah.
and he has to like change his ways, and like Lisa feels guilty because his life
Yeah.
is worse now. I think that'd be okay. Like,
Yeah,
that'd
and
be
he
fun.
actually did a thing where he didn't want to ruin her performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also because she's thankful for it. But she says, you know, I'm not going to yell at you because you didn't pull the fire alarm and you respected my performance. But I'm still going to be like a weird antagonistic bitch for the rest of the episode
Yeah.
and just be really snide. It just didn't seem like Lisa at all. I know she gloats, but this was another
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, and look, I agree. I think the salvageable part of the episode is the dare thing, but, you know, just devil's avocado for a minute. I am interested in Homer and Flanders working on a Christian movie together.
Yeah.
Homer and Flanders working on the movie, that was probably the one part where I actually got an out loud laugh. Like,
Yep.
them, like, riding together and just
Yeah.
staring off into space. It's like, all right, we need to take a break.
Yeah.
They resume staring off into space.
Yep.
And then they call the punch-up meeting and bring in Lenny and Carl and Barney, and Lenny's suggestion is, how about they say that's what she said?
Yeah.
That was some good fucking classic
Yeah.
writing
I mean,
jokes there.
You've just pitched, that's what she said 30 times.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she, yeah.
And then after these scenes, Flanders gets dropped from the episode, and this
Yep.
sucks. It
Yeah.
absolutely sucks.
Okay, change it back to, have them work on like the book, and then the book gets adopted, and that's because then at least you get an escalation of Bart's lie.
Yeah.
Like Bart lies, Flanders wants to write a book about it. Homer's like, you're not writing a book about my family without my involvement. You're going to make us look stupid. That's why he's involved. Then once the book does well, then you'll bring in the movie. That's like an escalation because we get into the movie so goddamn fast.
Also, they're getting a ton of royalties and
Yep.
they're getting all this stuff, and like people are like coming to Bart for like miracles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, I don't want this kind of responsibility, and wow, this is ill-gotten gains, and we
Yep.
should stop this.
No,
I mean,
it's just
yeah.
there's so many points that could be made out of this thing, and they don't, and it's annoying. BT, do you have any other notes?
There's a shit part where one of the bullies yells, I dare you, and we zoom all the way out to Earth, and it's like,
Why?
again, why?
Oh, and also, and I've dared you, and they saw it. All we need is a notary. Notary.
blah. no, I think I'm actually out now because it just, nah.
Jordan?
Yeah, it was the worst opening credits. It's not the worst. There's been worse. But what they decided to do is like, hey, it's 30 years, so we're going to put like a 1-second snippet of one episode from each season in the thing. Except they chose
Fine
like
idea.
some of the worst episodes. Like some of them were unanimous failures from what I can remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they even picked The President Wore Pearls at one point. It's like, fuck that episode.
Yeah, there's better season 15 episodes, I'm sure. Yeah, like obviously they were going for iconic, like the Brick Like Me one and whatever, and they had like Fruit Batman. I'm like, there's got to be other more iconic episodes that you're going to pick
If
this
only
one
they
from.
could consult some kind of online spreadsheet that would tell them the best episodes.
Yeah.
Does such a thing exist?
Oh.
It
Yeah,
would
so
help if that spreadsheet was also a podcast.
one of the bullies goes, no, I didn't tell you. I dared you. No, he didn't. He didn't fucking say, I dare you to pull the fire alarm. Don't go gaslighting Bart, you dick. The stupid Obamacare joke for a couple of sign gags in like when they were doing their pitches for the movie, like writing it. There was one that said paintball in heaven, and there was another one that said Homer equals Hugh Jackman, question mark.
I will say, just quickly, there was a sign gag I liked that was, boy sees heaven, Pinky swears it's real.
Yeah. Just speaking of sign gags, though, so when the movie producers come to the Simpsons house, they, like, purposefully stack all their DVDs so the audience can see them and not know. Like, again, it's just such an inorganic way to have all these sign gags.
Yeah.
I didn't read any of them. The only one I caught was Crazy Rich Aslans.
Oh. The guy who played Homer sounded like season 1 Homer, I really thought.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
He did that, like, Walter Matthau thing.
Yeah. I didn't know why they ripped on things like DC or like Paul Thomas Anderson, a really respected filmmaker, when they put out this shit.
Who is Paul Thomas Anderson?
Oh,
Has he disbanded? PTA.
I don't know to hug you or punch you.
He made Magnolia, which is really well regarded.
Yeah.
And then my last note is at the end where they have Springfield Film Commission, and they couldn't even bother to spell commission correctly.
Oh, really? It was spelled wrong?
That's why I got you to go back 5 seconds, because I'm like, oh, they didn't even fucking spell it. Like,
They didn't spell it Flim Springfield?
No.
That would be good.
It was commission 2M's 1S. Maybe they're like, oh, no, you get it? Because Springfield Film Commission doesn't know how to spell its own name. No, you fucked up, and you couldn't even be bothered to spell check your fucking episode. I hate it!
Time for my final notes.
Do you get theme songs in the Wasteland? Well, now it's time. For his final notes. Elliot's final notes.
Marge mentions that she's going to give Bart some smoochy poos. That's a very, very kinky thing. Do not look that up on Pornhub.
I don't know. You got to go to a different site for that kind of stuff. Pornhub even has limits.
Dark web,
Yeah.
Bart's fantasy where Jesus is like, God is love. And then he carves love out of wood and then just bashes Bart with it. Like, why?
Beats the shit out of him. That's not a very Jesus thing to do.
No. Dad raked the leaves today. That's the miracle.
Yeah.
Fuck off. It's time to rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode is just meh, you give a participant, but for the positive rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold, but for the best of the very best, which we won't get in this episode, you give cubic zirconia. John's going to go first. He's going to show you how it's done.
Oh, boy. This episode made me actively scowl in the middle of it. It made me so angry and tense. And it makes me want to drink this episode. It's fucking stupid. Oh, it's failure. It's obviously failure. God fucking damn it.
How about you, BT?
As I said in the beginning, it made me want to start fires. Even that first opening scene, I was like, this is already terrible, and I'm stunned at how quickly we got there. Absolute failure from me. Elliot Jay O'Neill, would you like to finish him?
Let's kick it in the pitch. Normally Wasteland, like to go for the participanty, the bland, the boring. It's nice to start out the Wasteland trek with a big firefight,
Yeah.
Yep. Burn down where you came from and head into the wastes.
All right, well, that'll make this episode a unanimous failure. We are giving this one the index finger. It'll be joining other episodes that we gave the index finger in the Wasteland, like Papa Don't Leech from the Teenage Wasteland, The Return of Lillian Lumpkin.
What do I hate more, this one or that one?
They are very different types of hatred. That's the kind of interesting thing.
I think I had more fun hate with that one.
Yeah, whereas this was just bewildering. How did anyone think any of this was a good idea?
Yeah.
But that first scene in that one is just the topper of bad Simpsons, like him just murdering his father in cold blood.
Oh, shit. I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, yeah, it's a dream sequence, but still, what the fuck? fuck?
Also, Homerland from season 25.
Oh,
Really racist one.
How I Wet Your Mother? No.
No, that wasn't a unanimous failure.
Wasn't it? Okay.
It was just more confused, just weird, but it wasn't terrible.
And also Last Traction Hero, where Homer and his back and all that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, we did unanimous failure, How I Wet Your
Yeah,
Mother.
that's what
You're
I
right.
thought. Yeah. That was the Inception one, right?
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense whatsoever.
And before we move on, is that reputation justified?
Why there? Is that reputation justified?
Dennis Perkins, the AV Club.
God damn, what does he want this time?
He gave this episode a B-, which is like a bronze-ish episode.
Dennis!
He says, Bart's Not Dead aims for a more character-driven return. Sure, Bart, Homer, and Flanders wind up making a Christian-themed movie that winds up making $100 million, but the heart of the episode is, well, heart.
Dennis, is everything okay at home?
What kind of heart?
Is everything too good at home?
Some kind of scorpion heart.
It's barely implied. And Jesse Shadeen of IGN.
It's the sound of like a katana slightly unsheathing.
This is our katana because he gave this episode a 7.2.
What? Oh,
Okay, we are the
IGN.
only people who watch these episodes.
If Robert Canning of IGN is the feather touch, Jesse Shadeen of IGN can be the feather sword.
That makes sense. All right, cool.
All right, it's time we move on to our next journey in the season 30 Wasteland, and this episode's titled From Russia Without Love.
How clever!
I think we're going to go the most insane we've ever gone, the earliest in a wasteland.
I know, right?
Like, I feel like it's already happening.
I'm cracking out the hard liquor from right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yay!
what time is it?
It's
3:15.
whiskey o'clock,
It's
motherfuckers.
drinking time.
And we are back, and we just watched another episode. Well, let me start that again.
Episode.
We've traveled further in the wasteland.
And we are back, and we just watched season 30, episode 6. Choking on my own rage here. Season 30, episode 6, From Russia Without Love. Directed by Matthew Nastuk, written by Michael Ferris. In this episode, Bart orders Mo a Russian mail order bride on the dark web. Guys, what'd you think?
I might be drunk.
Me too. Look, it was an improvement on the last episode,
Yeah.
but that isn't really saying anything, and it's not much of an improvement.
Yeah,
So
instead of molten shit, it might just be regular shit. I don't know.
So, for better or worse, Jordan, what's a moment from this episode that stands out to you?
You know what? It just tweaked to me. What kind of fucking revenge is Bart trying to pull? I want to know what goes through Bart's head. Maybe. What goes through Bart's head?
What butthead?
Does he eat pad?
Bart Sampson.
He's exactly like Bart.
It's just like Bart.
A Pooh Lover 69 says, just like Bart.
They are the Batman now. Matt Groening, Simpsons creator. It's episode 2, guys. It's episode 2 of 7. All right. Bart's looking up all this stuff on the dark web.
Point of order, I don't think the Simpsons know how the dark web works.
They
Well,
definitely don't
yeah.
because Herman's fucking computer is in a Faraday cage, but still connected to the internet, so that's not working.
Yeah. Basically, Bart goes through and he sees like rocket launches and stuff like, oh, what are we going to play a prank on him? And they order him a mail order bride. But I don't understand how he thought, even from a childlike point of view, how that was revenge for him turning the tables on the phone prank.
Yeah.
You know what? This is one thing I'll give this episode credit for. I like that they, because I know you said, what was it, like season 7 or 8 where they stopped doing the crank calls?
Yeah, about that.
And how Mo talks about like, yeah, you learn a few things over time or whatever. And he's talking about how he's like learned to recognize the crank call and like turn it back on the guy. And you know what? That was actually kind of nice for Mo to have a win there. But because it was so obvious and lazy, obviously
Yeah.
he's going to pick it.
Yeah, it's no Myra butt reeks.
Yeah.
And then there was at no point that he got by the mail order bride. He almost recognized the situation from what it is when she walked in.
Even though he recognizes the situation, he also said, I just don't want to get my heart broken again. So
Yeah.
it could have been anyone. It didn't have to be a mail order bride. It could have just been someone, any girl expressing any interest in him, and he would have refused. So it's not any kind of good revenge from Bart.
Yeah. BT, well, for better or worse, what something stands out to you from this episode?
Man, this whole thing, I was okay with being, it's whatever. I could ignore it until that very ending wedding scene where just everything just smashes together and is terrible. And just, I don't even know where to start on this motherfucker. I mean,
What about DJ Kirk?
Is a joke.
Boom shakalaka. Sorry.
DJ Kirk is a bit I should have liked, but what's his introduction scene when they first see him? Like, I like the
He's
idea that,
beatboxing.
yeah, I like the idea that he's stooped to the level of DJ, the lowest form of music imaginable.
He thinks he's really cool, though.
But I like the idea, it's just the execution where it just focuses on him beatboxing for way too long. It should have been him in the background trying to be cool. Like,
Also, Duffman respects him in a weird way, so that makes him kind of elevated from the bottom of the cellar, so...
Yeah, it's just...
fucking Duffman in this. I'm going to a beer mitzvah. They put the brew in Hebrew. It's like, fuck off. Did you spend all day writing that pun?
Yes, they did. But this whole thing comes about because, what's her name? Anna is all like, oh, why don't we go ahead with this? And Mo's just like, well, a deal's a deal, I suppose. And it's like, it plays this kind of heart music. Like, this wasn't heart.
Yeah.
He doesn't even really care. She doesn't even really care. No one is invested in this.
Well, that's the weird turn, right? Because she's dating Krusty.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I guess we'll give it a try or whatever with Mo. But then it turns out that she's like scamming him the whole time. So what's the point?
Wouldn't she be aiming up to Krusty because he actually has money? Like,
why would she go, okay, for love, let's try again?
Yeah, in all seriousness, I really thought and hoped the way this would end is they do get married and she's just an ongoing character from here on out. Because why not?
Fine.
It's been 30 fucking years. Give Mo a mail order wife. It's just a thing. And maybe that works out for them, maybe it doesn't. But... And then just to have this whole everyone scamming everyone, and we're back to zero. It's just like, then what the fuck was the point?
Willie.
Well, yeah, because now apparently canon is that, yeah, she's Willie's wife.
Oh, and let's not forget the way they find out she's scamming it is Bart's like, well, I've been learning Russian on the dark web. It's like, when and why? And then he passes it to Nelson, who also knows Russian.
And Milhouse.
And then Milhouse like, what?
Do they think the dark web is also Duolingo?
Apparently, yes. Darkolingo.
Also, shout out to all the Duolingo bird memes that are going around at the moment. I'm quite enjoying them. It's basically that the Duolingo bird like murders you if you miss your lessons.
Oh shit, I'm glad I got out of that.
Yeah, there was even one with, I don't want to alarm you, but there might be a Duolingo bird or Duolingo birds in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, that whole fucking end wedding scene, yeah, what a fucking mess. And just for the record, she was played by Ksenia Solo. She was a big player in Lost Girl.
It's the one where she's like a succubus. I've never seen it, but...
Okay.
And the other guest star in this episode was John Lovitz playing Hacky or Snitchy the Weasel.
What?
Yeah, that crowbar that was Clippy.
That somehow knows what the Simpsons house looks like and knows what Homer looks like and has already a pre-animation of it.
Yep.
That's how the dark web works.
That's how
God,
the dark
as soon
web
as
works.
that fucking crowbar came on the screen, the animated crowbar, I was like,
yeah, you were
why
out.
are you doing a fucking Clippy parody?
You were already yelling. It was funny.
What's that from? Like Microsoft Office 98?
Yeah.
When is that? That's like 20 years ago, guys.
That's how famous Clippy is.
Contemporize, man.
They don't know how the dark web works, and they were doing a throwback to when they did know how computers work.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what's the moment of the story that stands out to me? Fucking hell. Herman's involvement in this episode. So first of all, the voice acting did not sound like Herman. It sounded like Skinner. And yeah, he was just up for a couple of bad arm jokes. And
I did appreciate that kind of Arrested Development style, like, oh, my arm fell off. I was actually... and that's why you don't order on the dark web.
Yeah, it's just one of these things where they're bringing back something from the past and not paying it off in a satisfying way or making tribute to Herman in a satisfying way, because it makes sense to me that he would be on the dark web. I even picture like Herman as one of those alt-right chuds or whatever, but they just did nothing with him. And
yeah, are they intimating that he's like getting surveilled, like wiretapped or something? Because he goes, oh, it wouldn't sell that to you, and then he holds up the sign that says meet me in the basement.
Well, he's into some pretty shady things, counterfeit jeans and, you know, supplying vigilante groups.
With water balloons.
Potentially raping Snake and Wiggum.
I mean...
Oh, yeah. That was in an episode we love.
When you think about that, it becomes horrifying.
I mean, when it's a Pulp Fiction parody, I think you can excuse it. But if Pulp Fiction didn't exist, that would be way creepy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the wacky things from this episode. What are some of the cartoony moments that stood out to you?
A sign gag I hated was when they do this cut back from ancient times to modern day. And there's all these liquor signs, and one's like, Northern Discomfort. Get it? It's like Southern Comfort, but the opposite.
I'm trying to push my microphone into my forehead right now.
Mary, come look at my joke. I wrote it down. Oh my God, it's so good. It's going in the episode. The guys at work loved it.
Wait. Northern Discomfort.
I know. You'll
it's
get
the opposite.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And even before that, they do the whole Dawn of Man thing, which Man, these things
Dawn of Beer.
Yeah, just remind me of better Simpsons bits, like when they did that, like 2001, where Homer leans against the tower thing. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, this one just Mo serving up Homer beer in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I've got a slightly slanted up arrow when I'm like,
Yeah.
when Homer drinks the first beer, he's like, suddenly life ain't so bad. Like, that's not bad.
But also in a kind of a weird caveman-esque
Yeah.
drawl, like, oh, I haven't 2
Goes
kids.
on and on.
Stupid
brr.
Flanders and bleh.
Yeah. Like early man Homer was keeping it tight.
Yeah.
He
Johnny
looked
found
good.
beer.
That chest, you could cut onions on it. I just made that
Is
expression
that
up.
what people do with chests?
I won't use it again. And I thought, like, wow, I'm way drunker than I thought I was, because that, like, saber-toothed tiger just appeared out of
Yep.
nowhere, and I was like, whoa, what is going on with this animation?
Who
It didn't-
slipped me LSD?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, this is the episode.
And then it dissolves into
Yeah.
him at the table, like, drunk and being like, oh, get it?
Yeah.
And it just shat me.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
really-
that's right. And that bit where they're discussing who to invite over for Thanksgiving. And why wasn't there a Thanksgiving dinner? Why fucking mention it when
Yeah.
it's never going to come up again?
Well, we have to disappoint Mo in some respect.
And point out that he had a blow-up woman that's...
This lasted a year on their roof. That's an
Yeah,
I
point of
don't know.
order. Helium would,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazingly sealed,
Yeah,
whatever material they made out of it does not.
100% Mylark.
God, I
Well,
can't
blow-up
talk.
doll enthusiasts, please write in and tell me the benefits of using helium in your blow-up doll rather than just normal oxygen. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well, oxygen gets you high, so every kiss is like a daydream.
But
And
for helium?
makes you squeaky.
Oh yeah, that's it, Tommy.
You don't know
Yeah.
what coming sounds like?
Yeah, if you're a mouse, a cartoon mouse, like,
Oh! Thanks, Poodle! Oh, wait.
What the fuck is wrong with it? And again, I'm the drunk one.
Other cartoony moments in the punishment where
oh, yeah.
Marge was punishing Bart to the tune of Folsom Prison, which sounded so like a crappy sound-alike as well.
Yeah.
And Bart's done, like, what, 2 things on the dark web, and already there's an interrogation scene with him and the parents? Like, what? Why?
Yeah. I just want to say the animation of the chalk with the rain coming down and washing it away looked really good. And I liked the detail added to the scene of Marge coming in with the other torch and going, here's this one, it's brighter. If you look closely, it was slightly brighter.
Yeah.
Also, another wacky bit was the selection of Maggie's pacifiers.
Yeah.
With in the
which-
case, and the one that she selected was Mama's nipple.
I don't like. I like the bit, but then I read what it was called. Like, now I'm awkward. I like, the fancy selection of pacifiers, sure,
Yeah.
but the mama's nipple.
Wait, so because I'm assuming it was different flavors, but like,
Yeah.
who had to sample Marge's tit to get the flavor
it's
down
a
pat?
general mama's
No,
nipple.
I don't know.
Not strictly
I
Marge's
don't know.
nipple.
She went straight for it. She
It's
knew.
true. It's true.
She knew.
I mean, it's like new car. I'm sure, like, every new car actually smells different, but the general new car smell.
All right, let's try it right now. Let's taste everyone's nipples in this room.
But
figure
we're not
out if they're all
mamas.
the same. It's true.
Yeah,
All right.
I like you tried cracking that out now instead of later on when we're drunker and more insane.
I'll give anything a go once. Was it shaped like Marge's tit? You
Well,
reckon?
that's what the other thing I was wondering. Is this a shape thing or a flavor thing, you know?
Well, because the only other one I saw was a flavor thing, so I assumed it was
Yeah.
Marge's booby flavor, but I don't know.
It's not good.
It raises a lot of questions.
Well, obviously we have
that
to go
I
to
really
Twitter
want answers to.
and start tweeting the writer of this episode.
Okay. Who was it again? Sorry.
Michael Ferris, not one
Okay.
that's come up a lot. The other cartoony thing I want to mention is the post-credit sequence of Nelson finally reunited with his dad on Mars.
Fuck it. Fuck
yeah,
it to
and
hell.
it's not established this is a fantasy sequence or any kind of flash forward. This presumably happens like the same day.
Yeah.
So somehow Nelson has not only made it to Mars,
Yeah.
but is the same age, so he's gone like light speed. And there's also an actual Mars colony of which his deadbeat father is actually there.
But just the whole bit of, he's going out for space cigarettes and then he abandons him, because that's what
He has
deadbeat
another
fathers do.
shuttle ready and waiting just in
Yeah.
case
Yeah.
this exact moment happens.
Also, their colony is just the guys in spacesuits digging around, scratching in the dirt.
That's what you
There's
do
no-
in space.
There's no structures of any kind. Like, where are these guys living? I mean, I don't want to
Where's
get
your
all Jordan
potato
Zane corner.
farms?
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
you learn nothing from Matt Damon?
Exactly.
I mean, it was just such a stupid tag on that dumb joke where Nelson was like, see, he sent me this candy bar from space. That's a Mars bar. Ugh.
Is that what Mars bar rappers look like in the US?
No!
I don't know.
They're black and red.
Also, musical moments is they used Gustav Holst's The Planet's Mars one
nice.
for their bit on Mars.
Oh, okay.
Waste, if you ask me. It's actually good movement of that. I don't know what you call it. Symphony? I don't know.
Peace.
Doesn't matter. Moving on.
The heart. So in an episode where Mo gets a new relationship, how was the heart in this episode?
It should have been there. It wasn't.
You know what? It was just, I didn't believe Mo that he wouldn't jump at any chance to have some woman who legally can't leave him.
Or was improving his bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why does he send her away? Like, why?
Yeah, there's no need, especially when you're led to believe that she is not allowed to go anywhere else and that she has to stay there. Why wouldn't he use that to his advantage? He's always been a sleazy con artist, so why
Well, even
wouldn't
if he's
he...
going with this I've been hurt kind of thing, then I guess maybe.
Which also, fuck that remembering all the hurt montage.
Yeah, with Maya and...
Yeah, because that was kind of a sweet episode that kind of bungled its ending.
Yeah.
And this, like, all it did was making a cheap short joke.
Yep.
And then the girl in high school that, like, stood him
Whatever.
up through the seasons.
Oh, as soon as he was waiting outside that
Yeah.
door and he was like, just give me a minute. I'm like, don't do the season changing. Oh, you fucking did the season changing joke.
Indeed.
How old is that? Stop it.
Yeah. And then
Like-
a reference back to Lainey Fontaine. Like, I mean,
Like, I appreciate he's, and every time I put myself out there, I get hurt. So, I'm going to be suspicious of you. I'm Mo.
yeah.
It's so not his character at all to be...
Well, I like that he wasn't predatory about it. Like, he could have been really creepy about this. You have to stay with me.
No, he was woke about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
by
okay.
his own words. But to be fair, he kind of was.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
look,
more so than he has been.
Yeah.
look, white people stop having to say woke, like unironically or ironically. Like, it's not a funny thing to joke about. Like, I think people saying they're woke is a
It's like
real-
saying you're a nice guy.
yeah. Just, you don't need to say it. Just be
it.
good. Just be good. Don't talk about it.
Super
Yeah.
just
Be
good.
a
You
good
be Welsh.
person. It's not that fucking hard, people. I know it is actually a little bit hard. It's hard. You struggle, but just get through it because be
Yeah.
a good person. Jesus Christ, people. Why am I on a soapbox right now?
I was wondering why you brought that in here,
Yeah.
but
And look, the other heart thing that was just squandered and dropped was, Bart's whole thing again, betraying Marge, where, first of all, I don't think Bart ever did anything that warranted any sort of punishment anyway. Like, he got Mo the mail order bride, which we were like, okay, that seems to benefit him. And then he ordered a birthing rat. So what?
that was, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was just like,
Where
and
does
that's
this
how they
lead to?
figure out that he's been using the dark web. Where else do you get a birthing rat?
And yeah, he's got no comeuppance for like whoever's PayPal account he's been hacking for this. Like,
Yeah, there's been no negative effects to anyone at this point.
yeah, and it was just for this stupid fucking Folsom Prison montage, which, was just him writing the chalkboard.
And then it rains, and then Marge goes, do it again.
Yeah, and then he puts on a fresh diaper on Grandpa.
Oh, God. That was a little bit... Yeah, I didn't need to see that.
Yeah, I mean, considering the size of Bart and Grandpa, that would have...
He had Grandpa's wrinkled old man junk right in his face.
Imagine if he did a toozy, like the wiping involved.
Well, he did like wrinkle his nose, so there was a smell. We don't
An
know.
aroma.
Yeah. We don't know if that was just like
can-
old weed.
Can we not think about this?
Of
No,
course.
I put it in your head,
Let's
and
move
now
on.
it's there forever.
Alcohol has scrubbed it.
But did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No.
You know what? This is strange to say. It felt like a late teens episode of The Simpsons, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was a kind of a wacky concept that they're like, no, we're going to go all out. So in that respect, yes. But thinking about Teen Simpsons, no. So it's a double whammy.
Yeah, I don't think there were any major character integrity breaks, but I think it was just a lot of poor motivation.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
motivation.
Hey.
Mo.
But yes or no, would you watch...
No.
Oh, did you have anything to say about the integrity?
Mo.
But yes or no, would you watch this one again?
Mo.
You know what? I wouldn't actively avoid it. Like I wouldn't go, fuck, don't watch that. But I'd just say, it's pretty shit. I wouldn't watch
I'd be
it.
curious what I thought on a second viewing, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
No, like, I'm curious to know if I'm missing something because,
Yeah.
like the last one, we could extrapolate even though we could tell there were plot beats missing. This one, like, I'm a bit more confused by it.
Yeah, I kind of somehow missed the part where he told her to leave. My note's like, wait, what? When did he? And then,
Yeah, after they have, like, a really good night in the bar and she's put out all the flowers and stuff and put the bag on his head and they're doing good business and all of a sudden he's like, all right, fuck off.
All right, yeah, that must be why I missed it. Because
He was going to give her like one of the 7 stacks of bills, and she's like, you know what? No, I can't do it. And then
I must have been writing down a note, and
Yeah,
because
I
the
think-
tone of that scene changed so rapidly, I didn't notice it.
Jordan, what would you change about this episode?
you know what?
Yeah.
They've
What?
done so many failed romances.
Yep.
Make it someone else. And like I was listening to whatever episode it was recently, where you said in the deleted scenes, Mr. Burns was supposed to get a mail order
Yeah.
bride.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Give it
War
to
of the
him.
Simpsons.
Yeah. I would like to see someone else get a mail order bride, because the justification of why Mo and why they were pranking, in quotes,
Yeah.
Mo, didn't really make sense. And I'm sick of Mo romance stories that end in failure. So I would just give it to someone else. I don't know who. Honestly, I don't know. It's a pretty boring concept in retrospect. And I'm not enthused about it really at all. So maybe just dump it. Maybe just, I know, cancel The Simpsons at season 29, and then we don't need to ask this question at all.
Bold.
BT?
I think let's just change the script on this one in the sense that this is the relationship that actually works out for Mo, that he's like, no, you only like me because you have to. And she does some things to say, no, I actually am enjoying your company, even though it's a weird... I don't know what the legal obligations for mail order bride are, but
I
whatever.
don't think there is any legal.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know,
you can
just fucking-
literally legally own someone.
No, you can't own them, but they come
Well, the
up...
whole thing is it's because they're trying to get into the country
under
and the
a green
mail's the green
card.
card, yeah.
Yeah, under the understanding of... But I feel like there's something to extract from this, from that. It's been 30 years, let's just have a different Mo story. Why not? I mean, we've done
Yeah.
this with Comic Book Guy, with Apu, with, other characters have
Yeah.
gotten married. Why not? It feels like it's time to do something different with this. So that would be my main thing to change. And just the other things are just incidental stuff in passing, like... Some characters don't quite gel with the scenes or their moments, but overall, that'd be the main thing I change. That would make it something to be ignored or tolerated, because the ending of this one is what pisses me off the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see Mo actually get got. Like, he thought this was a woman coming out of nowhere and, like, she was rushing into marriage or whatever, but, yeah, she's only doing it to get the green card so she
Yeah,
can
and
stay
then
in the country. And
Have the bit where Bart's like, oh, I've really caused damage here.
yeah, and actually have him do at least another one thing on the dark web to warrant any sort of punishment.
Yeah.
Because, okay, look, getting Mo a mail order bride, that's pretty awful. Like, that's worth punishment. But ordering himself some birthing rat, like...
Yeah.
That doesn't even evolve into anything.
Nope.
We don't even see, like, him putting the rats in the school or something fucking simple like that. It's just Homer discovers that, all of a sudden, you've been on the dark web. And also learn what the fucking dark web is.
Well, they don't
Yeah.
have to do that as long as they can work around the myth. But yeah, I like have Mo fall for this, and it becomes kind of like a Bart the Lover kind of thing where
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
inadvertently set this terrible thing up, and we can join our ideas, and then she can be like, no, I am mail order, but I am falling for you, Mo. Here's a new thing we're doing with season 30.
For real. All right, Jordan, any other notes?
I liked the sign gag of Mo had bottles of champagne in the background called Mo et Chandon.
Yeah. Not bad. Okay.
Yeah, one ghost in the bar does not equal many ghosts, Mo.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
did
"My
write
only-"
down ghosts. If this is not a reference, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be Fats Domino, and that
Yes.
fucking thing dragged out.
Yeah.
Was that Kevin Michael Richardson for that?
Sounded like KMR, yeah.
Okay.
You're on an initialized basis with him?
Yep.
Yeah. But he just, because like, Jordan's adding to the fact that he said, my only friend is the ghost that I inherited with Bart. There was at least 3 ghosts.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, Bart at one point says, like, oh, maybe it was a master hacker. And I'm like, you're not a master fucking hacker. You went on the dark web at Herman's insistence and ordered a mail order bride in a pretty seemingly easy to use website.
Yep.
So
That had a helpful little icon.
this is like up there with like Jurassic Park. Like, I'm a hacker. Like, you're not a fucking hacker.
It's a Unix system.
You're not a hacker.
Okay, I have a quote here. Was there someone said Laser Wolf the Butcher? I think someone said something the Butcher. It was during that shitty Fiddler on the Roof parody. Homer's all like, oh, she doesn't want to marry a butcher. She doesn't want to marry a thing. Oh.
Laser Wolf.
This whole fucking thing. This is one of the things where, like, classic Simpsons, they homage something in pop culture or whatever, and they do it in a way where you don't have to know the source material
Yep.
and it's funny on its own. All this felt like to me, because I'm not familiar with Fiddler on the Roof, was them making references that you have to know it to get what the fuck they're on about.
Yeah, because Marge is like using like Yiddish words out of the blue, and you're like, oh, wait, what is this about again? And then suddenly Homer starts singing, and you're like, what the fuck, guys? don't do this.
Why do this?
You didn't.
Yeah, it's less Fiddler on the roof and more Michael Ferris fiddling with himself.
Hey, I said, yeah, so it just said, stop this Fiddler on the Roof parody. Cool. The Moose and Squirrel bit. What did you guys think about that?
Hated it.
Ruined
Yeah.
it with the second bite. I like the line of, I've taken out the bins and done the tills, and I also got rid of that moose and squirrel. That would have been fine to then cut to two characters going, Dave, what are we doing, squirrel? I don't know, man.
Davey.
Yep.
To have one of them literally go, duh.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, dumb. Such a fucking roundabout rice joke.
Yeah.
That Marge pulls out the rice, puts it in the garbage disposal, and is like, fills up the sink with water. It's like, I'll drop this in and there'll be no rice to save your phone. Like,
Yeah.
season 30, most phones these days are IPv6 certified.
I mean, really. IP freely 6.
But I like that as kind of an interrogation technique for Bart. Like, here's the fail-safe, and now, come on, spill
Yeah.
the beans. But
Yeah.
also, fuck everything about this bit.
Yeah,
It just took too long to get there.
Yeah, for real.
yeah. Danny C. Castellano,
He's Danny Castanella.
does a weird running away voice joke.
Yeah.
However, instead
Yeah.
of maybe him moving his voice away from
I
the
agree.
microphone, he just did it in his voice, in his
And
throat.
they just faded it out.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well.
And I'm like, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just move your head? Are you too much of a diva to even move your body in the recording booth?
No, I stand still, you move the booth.
Another anal corner. Why is Duffman's beer sloshing around constantly in the cans? Are the cans open? Is he walking around with open cans of beer strapped
Half
to his
cans.
waist?
Yeah, that's
Very
what it
weird.
sounded like, a half can, didn't it?
I didn't understand that. Why the fuck was it something like Millhouse being a ring bearer or something, or contract bearer was like, oh, I can tick that off the bucket list?
Yeah, he was like, have the ring bearer bring the notary stamp, and he's like, no, he's the ring bearer. Why does he have a notary stamp?
Why was Willie at the wedding? I don't understand.
At the wedding, but with no idea what was going on.
And he comes out of the building like, oh, I can hear a Scottish accent. Are you from North Kiltown? Doesn't matter.
No way, I'm from North Kiltown. BT, any other notes?
I do kind of like Mo's line of, oh, so I'm not invited. This is how I find out. Face to face with a true friend with plenty of time to make new plans.
Yeah,
Like,
that was all right.
That's pretty good. I do like the rats in Mo's bar all doing just various jobs. Although the one jumping in and out of Barney's mouth, I could have done without.
Yeah, that was a bit gross. Powering the vinyl
Yeah,
was
I was on
pretty
board with
nice.
that.
Time for my final nuts. There was a joke that BT laughed at, and I kind of laughed at with the love tester, where Mo like got the mid rank and was like, "Oh my god, I'm falling for her," and then it landed on cold fish, and that's what I'm having for dinner.
Yeah, is that the one I turned to you? I'm like,
Yeah.
don't laugh, don't give it.
You tried to tell me how to feel.
I just went, don't make it feel like it's doing something good. You know,
No, it was.
don't encourage it, Beach.
It was the shiniest part of this episode.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's good.
And before the extended Fiddler on the Roof bit, there was an extended bit with Marge trying to have the family guess what oil she used in the.
Oh, what the fuck was
Oh,
that?
that
It just
on
took
so long.
and wasn't worth the
It's
payoff.
vegetable oil. Great. Thanks,
Ooh,
Mum.
Thanks for the non-joke there. Fuck.
Mo said that his bar started out as an 8-story hotel, and
Which, what?
yeah, no.
Are you saying you're such a failure of a bar, the building shrank?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, maybe Mo's bar is actually the 8th floor and the whole thing is sunk down into the ground. So there's actually 7
Where the
basement
sewer
levels.
mutants are.
Yeah. That's where he hides his like whale and all the other stuff he's had like in Shady going on in the back
forever
room.
most shady businesses.
Yeah. Oh, good
And
times.
It's time to rank this thing. BT, your turn first.
Fell.
And why?
Look, this was participant and just ignorable for most of it right up until that ending where just nothing fit together and it all just... So, man, I could have given this participant, but it just annoyed me so much with its ending that just did nothing, had nothing to say, and didn't give a shit. And it's like, neither do I, so fuck you in the pit.
You took the words and farts and profanities right out of my mouth. I'm failing it for those exact reasons, Jordan.
So that's beautiful, man.
We watched the episode. We had like a break. We went and ate pizza. By that stage, I was like, I'm going to struggle in this
Yeah,
episode.
you were talking about how you were not going to remember
I couldn't
anything.
remember what was going on.
To be
Penultimate
fair,
ep-
most of this will be gone by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or the end of the day.
So for me, usually that is a participant.
Yep.
To steal a Mitch Hedberg joke, it was like pancakes. it was all exciting at first, and then you got fucking sick of them. I think it's just a participant for me.
Yep.
I can't justify giving it failure because I've forgotten what I hated about it.
Yep, fair.
And in a way, that's like more of an insult.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that whole
so
thing where
banal.
the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy.
Yeah. All right, well, averaging out, this will be a shiny failure. This will be joining other such shiny failures as the 10% solution. That's the Joan Rivers one, where
Yep.
Joan Rivers is Krusty
Yep,
manager.
yep, yep.
Ah, the fight before Christmas. The
Oh.
cubic failure.
Oh, that was the one. Sorry. Oh, wow. That was peaking.
You
Sorry.
did.
In the last episode,
Yeah.
I was trying to think, what was the other things that they used as the pinnacle of that season's in the opening
they
credits?
showed the
And they
Katy
showed
Perry.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Live action Katy Perry.
Katy Perry wearing a
fas-
Simpsons dress.
With all
live
their
action
faces.
Simpsons puppets.
I mean, they didn't show Mo like licking a clit. So, I mean,
That's a plus.
Yeah.
And the bonfire of the manatees, which I don't
Oh,
think
the
was
Alec
part of the
Bald one.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it was part of the Wasteland, but it may as
No.
well have been.
It was bad, though.
It was. All right, and before we move on, is that reputation justified?
I've already done the theme music once.
Dennis Perkins of the AV Club.
Ooh.
Dennis, the wild card.
He gave the episode a C+. That's pretty much where we went.
Nice. Well, way to agree with us, Perkins.
He said, "There's just too little investment in the script in either the emotional side of Mo's dilemma or the potential dark comedy inherent with the whole mail order plot. Here, From Russia Without Loves tries to go too light and dark at once and can't manage either."
I mean, accurate.
Yeah, you know what? That's a plot from the 90s. I just can't believe they're still doing it. And I agree with Lisa. They still do mail order brides now, except
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the plot variation as opposed to an actual physical thing, which I'm sure they still do, which is very sad and very upsetting. And I wish that the world was just a better place.
Don't we all? All right, it's time to move on, and we're going to review an episode called Krusty the Clown.
Oh, is that simple?
That's
Is it clown spelled with a K?
is
No,
it spelled with?
spelled as they're always spelled, but without giving too much away, this episode kind of goes after us.
Oh, no.
We'll be back.
Wait, it comes after podcasters?
No, it comes after BT
We'll
Calloway
see.
specifically.
Maybe a podcaster or podcasters in the house.
We'll be back. And we are back, and we just watched Season 30, Episode 8, Krusty the Clown. First released in November of 2018, it was directed by Matthew Fawn and written by Ryan Coe. In this episode, Homer becomes a TV recapper, and that annoys Krusty to the point that he wants to kill him, and then, running from the law, Krusty joins an actual circus. Hey guys, what do we think?
Finally, something that's just boring.
Yeah. Ask me to quote any part of that episode
Jordan,
right now.
Quite any part of that episode
I
right now.
fucking can't. I can't, Elliot. It's impossible for me to do that because
Jordan
I've already
couldn't
forgotten
quote
it.
any of the episodes C-.
I have the least amounts of notes on this one so far.
Well, let's see how much we can milk this cow. BT, what stands out to you from this episode?
This soggy
How
cow.
this is going to take us.
Soggy.
It feels like it's going after the AV Club
Yeah, for real.
because they're all like ABC ranks, and that. To be fair, maybe there's plenty of reviewers that do this, but the AV Club is the one we're aware of. And I can't say it's going after us because it's not using a medal ranking system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's also going after BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just clickbait shit
Any
in
clickbait,
general.
which BuzzFeed is a major contributor of.
For sure.
and
But I
to-
mean, even then, it's 5 years behind the mark here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I was sort of excited when I found this episode, like, oh, Homer becomes a TV recapper. They're going to, like, go after us and all the other fucking 20 Simpsons podcasts there are. But yeah, they really didn't.
Yeah.
That's who
I really wanted them to be indignant and be like, you sit there and you criticize and you
But you
put-
never create.
Yeah, you risk nothing. All you do is just snipe from afar, but you've
Yeah.
never done anything with your life. But they didn't. They were
No,
just like,
there was Homer sort of using the wanky, pretentious language that we often, get into. Character motivations and half-hearted plot structure and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, which is ironic considering Simpsons obviously doesn't give a shit about any of those things anymore.
But yeah, it just didn't feel like they were making a greater point or where they stand in comparison to reviewers or
Yeah,
anything.
it felt like clickbait. Wah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the extent of their knowledge. To the point that I don't have a major thing that stood out to me in this entire episode. I'm just looking through my notes. The biggest point I have is hippo juice.
What is?
And then hippo pipe.
I mean,
Because that was
it's-
also a thing.
It's purple.
I'll give it the credit that they draw attention to it like very predominantly once and then never really call it by name again.
I'm going to guess
So
hippo juice. I'm going to guess that hippo juice is lean. By that, I mean like purple drank.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right. Like scissor or something.
Yeah, basically.
How about you, Jordan? What stands out to you from this episode?
Oh, God, nothing. It's like a
Actually,
wall.
oh, wait, I found a bit I really liked. Lisa's getting him to watch and review shows. He's like, get paid to think about watch TV and write reviews. He just has a thought bubble of himself at this moment.
Yeah, and
that was the best joke of the entire thing.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same, and it's outlining like it's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's what he's always wanted. And we know that, and I like that. Anyway, Jordan, over to you.
I'm going to go with the fucking song.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just wrote, just do the fucking song already. Because they had the warm up and like the intro, the
Yeah.
bum, 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 bum. You're like, just start singing because I want it to be over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was like, once again, Phil, where are you? You would hate this.
It just, the lyrics weren't funny. It was slow. I think if you're going to do a parody song in The Simpsons in season 30, you've got to make it like that bit in Rap God from Eminem. You just got to make it like really quick fire, quick as possible.
Actually,
can.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, just like get the lyrics out there, get the jokes out there, because we already know it's not going to be funny. But if you get it over really quickly, then we can move on to the rest of
It's in
the
that clip of the egg
mediocre episode.
doing that.
Yeah, rapping eggs.
Yeah.
Please include the rapping eggs link in the description.
Yes,
Okay.
because including the audio is just the
Yes.
Eminem
Yeah.
song. You need the visual of the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, in this song as well, this reminds me about something that's really bugging me about at least the last 2 seasons of The Simpsons that we've watched is in the early days, they fired one of their directors, animators, whatever, because he was making the characters too rubbery. They were like animated in like this Disney style,
Yeah.
which we kind of saw in The Simpsons
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And we saw in this circus bit where, yeah, the animals were singing backups to him, which, I mean, whatever.
Oh,
I
I
don't
forgot that even happened.
but like they were doing it in such a Disney way, it was just felt like a departure from The Simpsons, and not in like a obvious stylistic parody either. Like they were doing a Dumbo
It's when
reference or
they,
something.
when they integrate these off-model animations in with the main thing, it's really
Yeah.
jarring.
I wonder if this is when they were like Fox was courting Disney to
Oh,
buy
yeah.
them. They were
And this was like
"Hey,
a response.
Hey, we can do animated singing animals too.
Yep.
To be fair, I do like the bit at the end where they're packing up the circus, so they unzip the line. It's just a
Yeah.
bunch of dogs.
Yeah, 2 dogs, which also looked like that police dog German Shepherd, but
Shepherd.
Shepherd in the
Welcome
Cave
to the Chef
Springfield.
Podcast.
Yeah,
I like when you get drunk and just start not incorrectly pronouncing, just over-pronouncing.
it's because I'm forming Proto-English, which is a new language, which you will hear about in years to come.
Yes, new speak.
And what stood out to me, yeah, look, just for lack of something better to say, just the whole Soggy the Clown thing, which I actually think is a pretty good story thing for Krusty to chase after, is that he can't be on TV for X reason, so
Yeah.
he's going to be a legitimate circus
Back to the
clown.
roots of clowning, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel like this story was really propelled by much. There wasn't much of a threat of him being found out by the other clowns.
And we should have gotten more when he joins the circus. Instead, it just feels like it plateaus.
Yeah. I mean, there's a montage where he's crap, and then he gets fired, and then he improves. So, like, there's sort of the makings of the right story happening here, but it just, the material just sort of feels flat.
Too little, too late, yeah.
I don't understand why he goes up to the front gate of that circus with no extra makeup or anything on,
Nothing,
and just
yeah.
nobody recognizes him.
Even though
I
they
find
all
that
hate him.
Very weird to believe.
But at the end, when he takes off the wig and nose, like, wait a second, that is Krusty. It's like, yeah, this is what he first looked like.
The other thing that bugged me was that, he got the money from the reward of turning himself in. Like, it's established Krusty's rich.
Yeah, he could have
Like,
done it himself. That's what I thought he
I
was
guess he
going to do.
couldn't like access any of his. I chose to believe, even though they gave me no indication that this was the case, that all his bank accounts were frozen and everything because he was
Yeah.
a wanted fugitive. But
Maybe.
really, also, when did they start printing out like wanted posters like they do in the Old West or whatever?
Yeah, usually it's a BuzzFeed article. 9 celebrities that are on the run that you need to get arrested right now.
Number 7 will shock you.
because he literally uses tasers.
I was about to follow it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was not going to. You did anyway.
So, yeah, anyway, those things, yeah, like what you're saying, Jordan, this is information that we can sort of extrapolate and probably guess, but feed it to us, you know? Like, this episode feels bare and that there's no stakes in it.
To quote Tom Haverford, drizzle it on for me, I ain't your maid.
Sorry, when you said feed it to us, I'm like, yeah, don't make us eat shit. At least feed us shit. You know?
A spoonful of sugar helps the shit go down,
Yeah,
Simpsons.
exactly.
And the other thing is, Bart being on the run from the circus should have been a plot point as well. Because we get the vibe from this that he's like with Krusty 24/7 now. Like this should be an extra amount of tension that he's run away and to join the circus.
And like also his de facto manager somehow. Because he knows all about these like deals that he can do. And it's very weird.
Yeah, there could have been a lot more done. So how about some of the wacky moments of this episode? What are some cartoony things that...
Boy. Lots. One thing I will give them credit for, I was like, is Krusty driving an electric car? And then they talk about how it's a Tesla or something and how he's going to murder someone in
does
a
an
Tesla.
ad for Tesla and saying how good of a murder car it is.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? They were saying that like when electric cars become the future, they were saying that they were going to need to make them make sound.
Make them noisier.
Because like for blind people crossing the road.
Yeah, dude, like I drive a Prius and it doesn't...
I'm sorry, you need to pronounce it. I drive a Prius.
Well, I drive a Prius.
There we go.
Thanks, guys. Look, I'm sorry.
I'm doing my part.
I'm just trying to help the environment. Okay.
There we go.
But no, seriously, like when I'm driving around car parks, people like frequently walk out in front of me and I have to be extra careful, like because they just don't hear me coming and they rely on that sense. Like,
They're not ready for the future, so they deserve to die.
It's Prius-side.
Zing. I kind of like Homer and Krusty in that moment, though, of both getting distracted by the booby lady on the distracted driving poster.
Yeah, I did work.
Although
like
Krusty
that.
does drive into Homer's car, but neither of their cars sustain any damage or dents.
Yeah.
That's just an anal corner for you.
Does it everywhere?
You trying to retroactively insert anal corner so we don't yell it? Because that's what that felt like.
There is a sign at the clown school, at the circus, that says clowns wanted. They have like 50 fucking clowns. They do not need any more clowns.
And they listed them all out for us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah, that went on.
Yep.
No, it really went on.
They listed 3 and I'm like, well, I'm not going to write any of these names down.
No, when they got to like, oh, Mrs. whatever and the Booby Brothers or and it's like, stop.
Yep.
When Krusty does his initial like, I'm drunk and I'm to do the high wire act and then like I'm gonna jump into the seal's nose and then onto the weird and it's like how many acts are going on at once? No wonder your circus is going out of business. Like someone would need to have 10 sets of eyes to watch all the acts you're going on at once.
This shit,
Stretch
man.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because especially like the tightrope walker, that's like you're drumming and you're building the audience
especially
suspense
with
moment.
no net.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, that means everyone's eyes are drawn upwards, and so they're not watching any of the stuff that's going on the floor.
Nope.
Yeah.
Think Dingling Brothers, which is obviously a parody of the Ringling Brothers, but anyway.
Not bad.
There was a clown at the very end that I think Lenny has a side gig as a clown because it looked exactly like Lenny.
Like the Secret Life of Lenny. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Don't tell anyone how I live as a clown on the side.
But for an episode with a lot of circus stuff, there's probably more wackiness to get into. But how about the heart of the episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
I did have one heart note here. Krusty trying to integrate with all of the other circus clowns. And that one was like, you know, those TV clowns, Krusty especially. And Krusty says, quite poignantly, oh, in a way, I've hated him all my life.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Krusty. You know, in a better episode, that would almost have some heart. But in this one, I just kind of feel it's very cheap and tacky.
Just tacking that on there.
Yeah, I didn't really care.
Well, I wish there was sort of more of the clowning characters sort of making a thing about how much they don't like Krusty and Krusty really being nervous about having to keep his identity secret.
Yeah, it got into why they don't like him.
Yeah.
Like a real kind of like clown hipster elitism thing, like gatekeeping
Clown
thing about
elitism.
this is real clowning. Those TV clowns, they're just selling out, man.
Just
like
introduce
I really
a
wanted that.
cartoon and everyone laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's a great point that Krusty doesn't really do anything. Like,
I mean, he used to take a pint to the face like a champ, but now...
But then when someone threw a briefcase at him in the corner, got him in the eye, then after that he couldn't do it anymore.
yeah.
He used to be a clown like you till he took a corner in the eye.
Wow, that's a dated reference. Actually, no. Skyrim is going to be released for the next 5 years
Skyrim
running.
was released
so...
for Switch last year.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
going to come out for
They
DS
just
this
released
year.
something called Blades or something, didn't they?
Yeah, it was an online
mobile game
thing.
and it's tanking.
Can't wait for Diablo Eternal!
Oh, yeah. So with the emotional core as well, there's like a little bit hit on Marge and Homer losing a bit of their relationship because Homer's so obsessed with TV lately, which...
Wasn't enough.
It was
like,
one
preamble,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot of jobs. Why is this one interfering with his love-making?
And the thing that I don't like about this is the reveal from the TV CEO that, like, no TV is real. It sort of deeply contradicts the fact that Homer's been watching a shitload of TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was on a network that
Though
existed.
I will say I do like one of those shows they list is Suits, and I've never seen it either. I just know it exists.
Oh,
It's Meghan Markle, right? Harry's fucking squeeze.
I don't know.
what?
Prince Harry, yeah. He
No.
married...
Is she on it?
Yeah, she was.
Really?
Was she?
Yeah.
Are you
Oh.
certain?
Yeah.
Wow. There were two other shows that I liked. There was a shout out to one, Squidbillies, which
That exists.
that's a real show. And
Hillbillies of the Ocean?
it's like they're squid, but they're hillbillies. So they have trucker caps and they live in the South and they have Southern accents.
I've got two words that'll help explain this show. Adult Swim.
Yeah, it's
All right.
adult. Oh yeah, it's like have you watched Sea Lab or any of that?
Yeah,
It's or Aquitaine Hunger Force. It's that.
Ah, okay.
So ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Elements, the plot, I say yes. The actual beat to beats.
I was thinking about Krusty running away and living another life.
Yeah, which has been done. And
Yeah.
this is a new version of that, sure.
Yeah,
What's
he's done
his-
his Bill Hicks one where he's tried to go like legit comedian.
He's gone Rory B. Bellows.
Rory,
Yeah.
that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
And I said it before, I like this as a thing where he's trying to get to his clowning roots.
Yeah.
Instead, he ends up rooting a bearded lady.
Good on him.
Yeah.
I do like the whole
The reveal.
the librarian twist of take off the glasses and let the beer down and
Yeah.
float
Yeah.
down. That's a good take on that bit.
I did think it was very on point for Homer to be the recapper, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
him to. It is a burn on all recappers. to
But it's
be able-
also like Lisa's doom is Homer's dream. And I
Yeah.
like that as an angle.
Well, yeah, I mean, that he'd be good at it. It's what he's doing anyway. He's just assigning letter values and
And I like some of them. It's like Game of Thrones. I have no idea who anyone is. A+.
Stranger Things, Spielberg's best. But yes or no, would you watch this one again?
Nah.
Airplane, maybe.
Maybe. BT, what would you change?
I've got so little opinions on this. I'd chase the origin of hippo juice. No, that'd be terrible. Just expand everything, I suppose. Expand Krusty's bit, expand Homer's bit. They could possibly be A-plots on their own if you just did more with them, but what's there isn't bad. It's just a bit flat. And, you know, how about try giving a shit about anything? I guess. Give shit.
Give shit. Jordan, what would you change?
Eat pant, give shit.
Make Bart running away with Krusty mean something, maybe. Or make the manhunt for Krusty more apparent. I'm just throwing shit out
wheels
here.
are spinning right now.
Honestly, it was too boring.
The
kind
vehicle
of
has become
concept.
bogged in the sand of the wastelands. We're just
Also,
spinning our wheels right
That's
now.
my brain. At
Yeah.
the same time,
Yeah.
I am slowly sinking into quicksand here, Elliot.
I like it was quicksand.
Quicksand.
If it gets above my head, I'll quit.
I quit. I'm shooting blanks. I mean, not in a literal sense, ladies.
That's
Or
still not
man.
literal.
Or men, whatever.
So you want people out there to know there are literal bullets in your literal gun. I'm just saying, you said that wasn't metaphor.
Beanbag round. What am I doing? I
don't know.
What?
I can't tell if you're
What is
digging
this?
up or down.
What are we doing here? Please.
Wasteland
Tell
Madness
me.
has finally taken them after 3 episodes.
Yeah, this is like a normal episode's worth that we've done, and we've still got like another half and
Yeah,
change
because
left.
by now, usually we're like, oh man, how good was that? I'm so happy it reminded me of my
Yeah.
childhood. And it was still in season 30.
No reprieve. All right.
Onward.
Yeah, look, as for what I'd change, I agree with BT's point of give shit. And
Eat bad, give shit.
like Homer becoming a TV recapper, that's a thing that didn't feel explored enough. Krusty running away to circus, and especially, yeah, like you were saying, Jordan.
And he wasn't Nelly the elephant, that's for sure.
No, did not pack his trunk.
Trump. Damn it. Fuck.
And like Bart running away should have been some cause of concern for his parents. Like, I'm just saying, and that would have added an extra sense of drama to the Krusty storyline, because then he would have gotten found out if Bart got found as well. And if it was a touring circus, you could have tied into them running away
Traveling
from
around.
Exactly. And my other point where you could expand the episode or spin it off, make it into its own episode, is, yeah, Lisa's school paper becoming this BuzzFeedy fucking listicle
that was...
sort of thing. That could have been more than just a fucking opening joke and an excuse to have Billy Eichner do a Billy Eichner rant.
Yeah.
Another, I mean, not that I don't think any of us are going to watch it again, but this is another playlist of the adults doing an adult for a kid voice.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. It sounds weird.
It's
Stop
just
it.
Billy Eichner. It's hard for me to pretend it's anything else.
And I mean, I don't mind Billy Eichner. I mean,
Neither.
didn't really like him on Parks and Rec. He was a bit annoying there, but like his Billy on the
But it was
Street
meant
stuff
to be a little bit
was
annoying,
like,
so.
yeah.
Okay, I will say actually for Parks and Rec, that was the same thing here. They
Yeah.
saw Billy Eichner, they're like, he's funny, let's bring him into this thing, but he doesn't work in this thing.
No, he's constrained. I think his works when it's this chaotic element to his whole work, right?
Let him
I
off
think-
the leash is what you're
Yeah, basically. It didn't work. It was too pent up.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the other guest star was Peter Serafinowicz, who played the CEO of the
Yeah,
TV
that was
company.
a weird turn at the end of the episode.
Also, why is he revealing the whole plot to Homer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that he thinks he's such a small fish that no one's going to believe him anyway.
I guess, but at least say that. Why are
Yeah.
you telling me all this? No one's going to believe you, and I like bragging.
Like soaking him in rum. No
Rum.
one will-
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We need TV recappers to perpetuate the myth that these shows exist. So, Homer, we need you to do this. Watch TV shows that you have actually seen, because TV shows doesn't exist. It doesn't make
No.
fucking sense.
As Mr. Cheney once said, the plot makes no sense. Tell the people.
If Chewbacca is from Endor.
He's from Kashyyyk. He
Yeah.
lives on Endor.
Yeah, that's right.
That does not make sense.
Hey, you need to use that screen grab, the one where he shows the TV and then the 3 TVs and then the big mega TV with
Yeah.
all the TV shows that are apparently fake.
Well, one was American Dad, so I thought
One
that
was
existed.
Arrow, and I'm like, I know.
All the ones on the TV screens were real because
Okay.
they put it up on Twitter and was like, hey, tag yourself if you're at this show.
Ah.
But yeah, there were a bunch of fake ones mixed in with the like teleprompter thing.
Oh, right.
BT, any other notes?
When Krusty tried to murder him, he's like, I bet you wish it was season 4 again. Actually, Simpsons season 6, I think, is our best rated season
Yes,
so far. So, according to your critics, you should be season 6 again. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but what was the Krusty the Clown show seasons like?
How about shut up?
Oh,
Jordan,
that would be an
this
index
season.
within the index, just rating the Krusty the Clown show within the Simpsons.
Rating
Yeah.
Itchy and
by
Scratchy.
season. Yes.
And I do like when the limo pulls up, it's just to Homer, get in. Okay.
Yeah.
But that is all my notes.
Jordan.
There was the joke when the paramedics there and Bart somehow arrives at the scene of the car crash.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, I started writing, why the fuck would Bart care? Oh, because he rushes to Krusty's side, not Homer's. Get it? Because he cares more about
Now
Krusty
it
than his own father.
Really telegraphed.
Again, it would make sense if Marge was there and she arrived on the scene and then Bart then took the opportunity to run away, and then you could have that moment for them to realize that he's gone and had the fucking drama that this episode needed. Sorry? What nail?
There was oh shit, did you just punch your fist into that? Are
A little.
It's a padded wall. It's fine.
you bleeding?
No.
Good. I did like that head kind of New Yorker clown. I had a line of like, oh, you TV clowns riding 4 to a car. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Homer and Marge's the third drawer of the nightstand. I want to know what is in there.
They alluded to that, but didn't say too much.
Yeah, it's he's like, the anniversary drawer. I'm guessing there is definitely some kind of like mouth gag dildo and like, some rope to do some shibari and all kinds of cool stuff.
Shibobo? What?
Shibari, it's like Japanese rope tying.
Okay. Is that what that is?
You see that meme of like the dog on a porn set? It's kind of like looking like confused because this woman is like getting like kind of tied up with rope, and like when they break out the leash and you don't think suddenly you're going for a walk. Julie's voice after we commented on it.
Yeah.
episode
Lot
1,
rougher here.
it is real rough. So maybe she was good after a holiday, but 2 episodes is all it took for it to be back to just awful, awful, awful. And the Ralph joke at the end was like, of course, you go from the second dumbest person in the Simpsons to go recapping to be the dumbest person on the Simpsons
Get it?
to be
Ralph
recapping.
thinks it's good.
And look, if the comment on it is TV recappers are dumb, it's like, yeah, nice stab. Like I'm saying, I wish this episode kind of went harder on
Yeah.
reviewers.
Come at me, bro. Yeah.
Or actually had fucking something to say.
It's
Yeah.
easy to criticize and fun too.
Time for my final notes. I like Marge's line as well. I've often wondered if I had the wrong opinion about something I just seen.
Yeah.
Not bad. Oh, my only other note was I really do want to read the article about 9 reasons you've been doing scrambled eggs wrong.
I've heard a lot of them.
I saw
Could be
a
lighter
recipe.
and fluffier.
I saw a Gordon Ramsay episode where it was kind of like you put the milk in first and then crack the eggs into it as you're warming it up.
Right.
More swearing if it's going to be Gordon Ramsay.
It is a tweet the other day that was like, can't imagine how nervous Gordon Ramsay's wife must be before he eats her pussy.
Finally,
damn
some
you.
good fucking food.
Time to rank this thing. Oh, it's my turn to go first. Look, I'm giving it a participant. This is primo Wasteland material, to be honest. It's just, it's poorly motivated. It's kind of a plateau. I'm surprised that we got this much material out of it, honestly.
Primo and Plateau? I am going insane. I swear to God. Like, I am...
You've lost it
I
already.
don't
man.
understand. Are these real words?
And
Primo
Jordan,
Plateau.
what do you reckon, Jordan?
I think I'm at a participant too. I didn't care anymore. Halfway through the episode, I was like, I've checked out. This isn't funny, and I'm sick of it. But it wasn't enough for me to really hate, and that's what I really missed about this first episode that we watched, because I was real angry.
Yeah.
Real
It's always fun to be gloves off,
Yeah.
knives out. you
angry
know.
up the blood. And now I'm just kind of... Now it's 6:45, and
Oh, fuck.
Don't
we still
give a
got
shit.
4 more.
oh, we can do it.
BT, what do you reckon?
Yeah, unanimous participant. I have mostly forgotten this episode. I didn't really care about it all that much during the watching. I have the least amount to say on this episode of anything we've done so far. It's just, whatever. I'm done caring about it in any capacity.
All right, and this will be a unanimous participant. This will be joining other participants like we did in Teenage Wasteland, the President Wore Pearls.
It's a shame. And we talked about it earlier tonight as well.
Yeah, the Evita parody and Prankster Rap, where Bart goes on tour with 50 Cent and the like.
And Thursday the 22nd or whatever it was.
Yep.
Alcatraz and the Glock pointers.
And then from the HD Wasteland was Pulpit Friction. Pulpit
Oh,
Friction.
Ed Norton?
That's a
Yeah.
That's
Ed
a
Norton
laboured
being the
metaphor.
Reverend or whatever? No, not the Reverend.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Deacon.
Oh, the Deacon,
Deacon,
yes, you're
yeah.
right. And Father Knows Worst, which I think we wanted to like more than, but it was bad. The helicopter parodying one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
And before we move on to the last episode of the evening, is that reputation justified?
I believe we've already done the theme song. You only pay for one.
So Tony Sokol of Den of Geek. Now, I don't often pull up his reviews because he is way more of a feather touch than Robert Canning.
What?
How is that even possible?
He gives glowing reviews to bad episodes to the point that I don't bring them up because I'm afraid of what we'll say about him.
You know what? The Lady Gaga episode should have been on a fucking Emmy.
He's the one who's voting in the Writers Guild of America awards.
absolutely.
Seems like that's the
He
case.
gave Krusty the Clown 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I have a question.
Point of order, yes?
What did he give Bart the General?
Or like a good episode.
Yeah.
What's weird is when you read that out, I actually went blind for a few seconds.
He says, Krusty the Clown is a great episode. Good enough to
Wrong.
be on season 4.
Wrong.
It's funny, character-driven, and dare I say it,
Wrong.
timely.
Wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
He wants to be in the Simpsons good books.
For real.
So this is just the sound of getting on one's knees and taking a good hard slow.
You know how I'm not.
You
gonna-
do what you have to do in the wasteland. Dennis Perkins of the AV Club.
Dennis, the wild guy.
He gave Krusty the Clown a B-. So this is like bronzy territory. The Simpsons used to be and can be and occasionally still is a razor-sharp and hilarious critic of pop culture itself.
True.
And Krusty the Clown shows what happens when the show's creators swing and miss.
Correct.
How is that a bronze?
What are you saying, Dennis? How was that a B-? What? Okay, what was the positive things he
That
said
actually
about
sounds like one of Homer's reviews. Swing and a miss. B-.
Gets my lowest score ever. 7 thumbs up. All right, guys, it's time for the last episode of the season 30 Wasteland, where we're reviewing The Girl on the Bus. We will be back.
Goes round and round, round and round,
I didn't
round
see
and
that
round.
movie. I'm curious.
There's a movie called The Girl on the
Girl
Bus.
on the
Girl on the
Train.
Train.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What'd
So
do?
she wasn't on the train. Oh, well, no, I guess the girl who was watching was on the train.
The girl watching the girl on the train while she's on the train. The girl on the train is not on the train.
Is in the window, and then she's not in the window, and drama.
And we are back, and we just watched our final episode for the season 30 section of this Wasteland before we move out into the tree houses of the Wasteland. And this was season 30, episode 12, The Girl on the Bus. First released in January of 2019. This was directed by Chris Clements, written by Joel Cohen. In this episode, Lisa's on a bus and she sees a kid playing clarinet and she wants to be that kid's friend. She goes around the kid's friend's place for dinner and lies about her family, and then all of a sudden Bart's got a happening club in his bedroom. What did we think?
I guess you should point out it's Joel H. Cohen and not Joel Cohen from the
Lest to be
Cohen
confused.
brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what there, fella. At the end of this one, I asked you if you had any cocaine because I was so fucking bored that I might have to do the whole review on this voice just to keep myself entertained.
Yeah. Oh, man. If we thought the last one was boring, right?
It was a mishmash of previous plot Simpson work
Yeah.
that I just didn't care for.
Yep.
Yeah, it
At
was
all.
a little bit of the Allison story.
You really spoiled us with this first episode that you did, because that was...
That was the adrenaline rush of hatred.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was-
really should have done it in reverse order.
This was the morphine of boredom.
It's more like opium, I feel.
Yeah.
I was just in a stupor.
Fentanyl.
Oh, so I died. Yeah, that's close. Yeah.
BT, what stood out to you from this episode?
Let me have a look here. The title cards really stood out to me when they're all like, Girl on the Bus, and then it goes to The Lie is Cast and Double Down on Deception. Caution ruse at work. And it's like, why are we doing this title card framing device? It doesn't seem to be tied to anything in particular.
But it only, because they did it at the start, but then it only like kicked in again like halfway through the episode.
And then they used it like 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was, and then they
stupid.
ended it with like, I can't read French, but I assume it was like, stay tuned for Bob's Burgers or something
Yeah,
like
pretty
that.
much.
Stay tuned for a better program.
Yeah, which I gotta say, Bob's Burgers in their 9th season, they're still fucking killing it.
I mean, if you can get John Hamm to play the voice of a talking toilet, you're doing pretty well.
Was that John Hamm?
That was John Hamm.
That is like one of my favorite episodes of
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers that I've easily watched more than 10 times
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
quite hilarious.
Do you need to vomit? No, I'm trying to tell you I love you. Ready for vomit. No, I love you. Vomit now.
John Hamm.
That
You
Jonathan
beautiful
Hamm
dick.
plays a good $500,000 toilet.
And yeah, the title cards as well. So like, I only just found out today that The Girl on the Train is a movie.
Yeah, quite it is there,
Yeah.
fella.
It was a book and then a movie.
So I'm assuming the title cards are something that comes up in the book
Nope.
and or movie. No?
I think it was just supposed to be black and white, silent movie era, farcical.
It feels like something they were throwing in just by doing something different.
But they don't even run with it. And, like, they even start out the episode, and sorry, I'll jump the queue and say that's what stood out to me is fucking Lisa's song at the beginning.
No.
Oh
Which-
my God, we all just went, no,
We all went-
no, no.
It was like, where's my brother? He would hate this.
Phil?
Phil, where are you?
You know, we keep seeing The Simpsons doing this joke of, like, they're shitting. Like, I feel like Phil's, like, out to dinner or something with his fiancée right now going,
Something horrible has happened.
Wait, did you say Simpsons episode like they're shitting?
The shinin.
Oh.
He's trying to
yeah.
say the shinin, but he didn't quite say it though.
I thought he said, yeah, you know they do this joke with like the Simpsons episode like they're shitting.
But honestly, isn't this, of the 4 we've done tonight, the 3rd that's had a song from fucking nowhere?
yeah. It felt like the way they started out the episode, I groaned extra hard because, like, usually when they do a song starting out the episode, there's going to be a lot more songs.
But this was the only
Yeah.
one.
Fortunately.
Fortunately, but also then why is it there?
Yeah. You're really going with this, aren't
It's actually keeping me a little bit awake. I was kind of flat before, but now I'm having some fun.
you? Jordan, what stands out to you from this episode?
Oh boy, what do I choose? Honestly, what do I choose? There's so little to choose from.
This episode barely stands.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Lisa is like, do we always have to watch dinner while we're eating dinner? Fuck, see what I mean? The
Wasteland
Madness.
Well, I believe he's fallen to the Wasteland Madness there, fella. Not me, though. You're skipping the knees.
That's the accent you've always had.
I'm always here. It's always here unless I'm not.
Have you always been a talking frog?
Oh, yes, I have. Hello, my baby. Hello, my...
Let me start again. Lisa says, do we always need to eat dinner while watching TV? I'm like, you never fucking do. What are you talking about? Where'd these TV trays come from? You're
And it's,
always at dinner.
Yeah, the TV trays are always the exception. It was the one thing that, like, when we did that episode where Homer's like, Marge, can we get some clear plates? Bart's like, can't we just
Eat from one
it?
big elongated bowl.
That's a trough.
I will say, there's a big character departure for Marge in this one, who's the one that's like, shut up, Lisa, I'm trying to watch this shitty TV.
Yeah. Marge would not give a shit about Ultimate Ninja Warrior.
I feel like I'm going to give her some kind of shit credit here and believe that she would get invested in the story.
I can
behind
appreciate there
the
would be
contestants.
like something that she could get into and randomly just, I'm now hooked on this show. But
Yeah.
to just kind of do it out of nowhere when, every other time we've had dinner with the Simpsons, it's been this calm around the table, talk about your day kind of thing.
Some of the best things, or like, none of the kids had any interesting days, and like Bart's arm is broken, and Lisa's inspecting that giant gem. And,
Lisa's got cutest baby.
yeah, that's
Maggie.
that's right. Yeah,
Whatever.
like.
Where's that at?
Madness.
And then they're like, oh yeah, like, no, we always eat dinner sitting on the floor with TV trays. It just shat me because I'm like, have you even watched your own show? Don't say that this is something you always do.
No, look, and it's a fine enough moment for Lisa to sort of use that moment where they're addicted to whatever the current show of the day is. And Ninja Reality Beastmaster thing did the rounds last year or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what? It is fun to watch like ripped human beings just defy gravity.
They should have had that, but have them being singing as well.
Oh yeah, like it's American Idol. but
American
you're also
Idol ninja.
Yeah.
I'm a ninja and also a Beastmaster.
Aren't the point of ninjas that they're silent killers? Then we're not saying they're real ninjas.
Not in the contemporary term there, Lisa.
Yeah, it's like, here's my drawing of a ninja.
For you at home, he's holding up a blank page. It's quite a good joke.
Wackiness. What are some wacky cartoony things about this episode?
A5 Beavers.
Okay, Homer aging rapidly when he ate a marginal amount of salt.
Fuck this joke. Okay, there was like 2, maybe 3 times where they did the whole Homer looks like grandpa joke and it was funny. They keep fucking nailing this into the ground and it sucks.
Isn't it funny when people with the same genetic material tend to look a little bit like each other?
But only after they've had enough salt.
Crazy. That's wacky as shit, guys.
Yeah, like the one that I think was funny, like when Homer's running that marathon and he's so dehydrated that he looks like Grandpa. But this one, he starts acting like Grandpa and asking where Charlie Rose is, and we cancel Charlie Rose.
And his voice changes as well,
Yeah.
which is dumb.
It's fucked.
You're telling me all we need to do is hydrate Grandpa?
Well, as we've seen before, you just need to apply a vacuum to the back of his head.
Yes.
Homer, Grandpa. Homer, Grandpa.
Don't play with the skin.
What about the wackiness of which Homer sends a gif of himself from The Simpsons?
All right.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I remember when this episode came out and you told
Yeah.
us about it and showed us the GIF, and we
Why,
were
you were
like,
as angry as a steamed
"Ooh,
ham."
boy."
Yeah, well, what it is, so Homer's texting Lisa, and we see Lisa's phone's perspective of it. Homer goes, I've lost my phone. Lisa goes, you're texting on it. And then he posts the gif of Homer walking backwards into the bush.
From Homer Loves Flanders.
Now, one of the big criticisms of GIFs, and I kind of get it, is that it completely departs from, like, what its original intention was. And, I mean, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. And The Simpsons using it in that way, it just felt forced.
Well, it's just weird as fuck to see The Simpsons self-referencing themselves in something that wasn't being filmed in their own universe.
Yeah.
The thing is, we've mentioned before that they've made meta jokes. Some of them good, some of them quite bad. But at least it's kind of like a fourth wall breaking moment, whereas this feels like...
It feels like a fourth wall break within the third wall.
We're up to 7 walls here.
Too many walls. What dimension is this fucking thing?
Look, it's very weird because it means that there's this weird kind of internal universe of The Simpsons. Like it exists within its own universe, which is some fucked up like grandpa paradox bullshit.
Yeah.
It seems like a Hey Fellow Kids kind of thing.
Yeah, very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that is as good as I can sum it up.
Which, one, you're 5 years too late. Reaction gifs are kind of on the wane, I feel now, almost. Like they're kind
Why don't you keep up there, Grandpa?
Okay, I kind of get the point of it because it's reinforcing in that moment that Lisa has a reason to be embarrassed about Homer. But then to sort of almost ruin that sort of story beat by having the Simpsons like pat themselves on the back with this gif, it's shit.
And you know what's goddamn stupid about it? The fact that what Homer is embarrassing her about, she doesn't have to announce to the people she's with. So she has no reason to try and hide. If Homer had called her with some kind of ridiculous flim-flam, then she would have been like, oh, that's just my father, never mind. Oh, no.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, answer it. On speaker, let us talk to him. Like, that would have been a different thing.
Yeah, or she had to
entirely.
pretend she was having some other kind of conversation, then, that would have fed into the lie, but instead it's something she can just ignore immediately.
Yeah, the old phone conversation where you're having to say, answer the person on the phone, also in a way that's going to have you save face in front of the people you're around.
Oh, like Jack Donaghy having two conversations at the same time. Yes, exactly.
How fast can you turn it around? Yeah.
The thing is, the fact that it's himself as well seems really self-congratulatory almost of Homer or the writers of like, yeah, this is something Homer would do. Just, it boggles the mind.
It'd be like if they made another Steam Hammed reference now. Like, now that it's become this big internet cultural phenomenon, if they then included it in an episode now.
If Skinner just walked in and was like, you know what, I was just steaming some hams.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Or fucking
yeah.
Bart becomes an EDM producer and makes a remix of steamed hams. Like,
To the
Jesus.
tune of the Bart Man.
That's when you're like, you know what? Simpsons doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We've come full circle. It's referencing itself, referencing itself, referencing itself. And so, therefore, it does no longer exist.
The Wasteland madness is settling into me because, like, when you said it EDM, like, my brain thought you meant ASMR. And I'm like, when Bart becomes an ASMR producer.
Oh, wait for season 31, episode 3.
Cowabunga.
Eat my short.
Eat band. Wackiness.
So Lisa just cut school to hang out with this girl that she just broke into her house.
Well, that's sort of a weird thing. It implies it's actually on the bus the way home because the clock in the background of the girl's bedroom says 10 to 3.
And also
It
in
does.
terms of wackiness, when Lisa's doing this whole doing the double life thing, she's then sleepy the next day, which implies that she's not getting sleep at the house. Like, wouldn't the point be that she's sleeping at that house? Like,
Also, her bedtime is 7:30 in the Simpsons household. That seems strangely strict for a household that has Homer as one of its two heads.
and everybody knows American Ninja Beastmaster starts at 8:30 p.m., 9 Central.
I mean, for the love of God. I'm also reasonably sure that earlier on when Marge is all like, oh, you have to invite them to dinner. That's my Marge voice, apparently. And then Lisa's all like crying. She's like, they'll be here at 7, but it's 6:45. They're having dinner.
Yeah.
So what time are you going to bed? What time are these people here? What is time?
What is
Time is a figment of your imagination.
What time? Eat pant.
Time is something that we made up to try and bring order to the chaos that is our lives.
No shit.
But that's the thing, they don't even explain it away with Lisa going, oh, Mom, I think I might just go to bed early tonight, or like, I'm going to start getting earlier nights, or anything like that. And then she's sleeping the next day, which implies that she's staying up all night at the other place, which wouldn't happen.
Also, who the fuck just like walks into someone's house, like knocks on the door half of once, and then just walks in like, hello, I'm walking past your expensive, like, exotic accoutrement.
Yeah.
To us here in the wasteland, walking into someone's property is a good way to end up in a bear trap.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just walk into any property because you haven't seen any civilization for more than 400 miles. So.
Bear trap.
And also, like, the little girl's response, oh, hey, home invader, this is exactly what I was doing. And the other wacky thing I want to mention before we move on is, Bart's pad, Bart's new room thing.
What the fuck is that all about?
Such a weird get out of ending free card.
Yeah. Did they have no other ideas? Bart is serving alcohol and getting Lisa's friend's mum drunk.
I'm
And
guessing he hasn't got a liquor license. For some reason, he's got a jacuzzi kiddie pool. What was that all about?
where did he get a 55-inch flat screen TV from?
Why was Milhouse there just like doing bicep curls? That's really weird. I
That's a
don't
weird
understand.
tie forward when he gets
Oh.
into pumping iron.
The future drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
Setting
this
that
is
up.
the timeline for that.
This is the seed for a shittier episode.
Fuck this.
But no, like, get out of jail free beach. That's like a perfect metaphor for this. Like, they just went, I don't know, how about Bart has a swing club in his house and that's the ending?
Yeah, it's like a Deus Ex Machina, only with disco balls.
Like, it's disappointing because this story, and I'm going to say, leading into the heart of this episode, there is something to be mined here about Lisa being embarrassed about her family. It is a very well-trodden road of
done it
this that we've
before.
walked down, and it's fine. And the people should have like turned around and said, Lisa, it's fine to be embarrassed about your family. Like, I'm embarrassed about my father. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, have him, the father of her friend, be all like, look, I came up from a different family as well, but, they're still your family and you've got to accept them as they are.
Yeah.
Something about that,
Or they don't talk about the dropkick older brother that's, I don't know, bumming around
Ogdenville.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't do what they did in the first episode was, hey, actually, I'm from Brooklyn. Like, they couldn't do that because they'd already used that joke this season. So,
that wouldn't stop
fuck
them.
me, right? I guess I can't do that.
So anything else to say about the emotional core of this episode?
I have more wacky shit.
Well, let us have it, fella.
Double back to the wacky.
Homer is drinking from a hose on the second floor of
That
his
was
house.
fucking weird.
Why do you have the hose up on that second? You know what? Doesn't matter.
Nothing matters.
They did have a wacky mini horse that got cuter as it got older. That
I
was
like
kind
that
of funny.
joke.
Yeah, no, I did too.
It's a rare breed. Maggie wipes her brow with her pacifier.
Maggie has a pacifier and she uses it for things that aren't pacifier. Joke.
Now her forehead is all salivary.
Hey, can you remember what the Ralph line was so Elliot can do his James Earl Ralph?
Oh, indeed I can. Lies are like stars. They always come out.
That'd actually sound profound in James Earl
Yes.
Ralph.
Yeah, that's what Lisa thought too.
Lies are like stars, Simba. They always come out. See? That could have been in The Lion King. Tell me that wasn't in The Lion King.
Sometimes they say sex. Or SFX.
Depending on who you are.
Flanders pretending addicted to being Homer. And he says...
Kind of like him.
annoyed grunt.
Oh, okay. Objective. What did you like?
I just kind of like it
tell us
that
why you're wrong, Beej.
I don't have to tell you anything there, fella. No, it's just the fact that it's one of those little, when Lisa kind of comes up and says, hey, just play along. I like the idea he continues playing along. It's like, this is kind of liberating.
Okay.
He's like at his job eating donuts.
At his job eating donuts is too much, but,
Again, because
conceptually.
that was a plotting thing where it was clearly nighttime at the Simpsons house, and then they do a cutaway to Flanders, presumably in the daytime at the nuclear power plant. Lenny and Carl are there as well. It did not make sense. Any other wackiness?
Not impossible wackiness, but I actually kind of like the pun of lunchboxing.
Yeah.
It was fine. And
That
they
was
had
fine.
all the different belts because I believe also, there's like 5 different titles in the boxing world.
Yeah.
WBO, WBA.
Whenever they were playing some kind of game and it hits Lisa, it's like, you lose. Lisa counts as floor. I was like, I'm okay with that.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
like volleyball or beach backpack volleyball.
Ultimately, though, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
The concept felt like they were like, hey, we're running out of episodes. What should we do? How about we go through these cutting room floor plot points and then make an episode out of all of them?
Yeah.
You're brilliant, Jenkins. Let's go home early.
Again, I don't think there were any serious character breaks, but the episode was just so plodding and meddling and like not doing anything effective with the characters.
No.
I felt like the other family could have been more interesting.
Yep.
Or what was the girl's name again? I can't even remember.
Sam.
She had like pictures of like Ella Fitzgerald up on her wall and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool. But there was nothing interesting about them. There was nothing that set them apart or nothing like that moved the plot forward. They noted that Lisa was vegetarian, but they weren't vegetarian themselves.
Well, there is a thing that, like, the fact that you thought to ask was, quite lovely. And yeah, but you're right. They were just sort of blank slate. There's nothing wrong with these people and they're not helping the plot at all. Like, there is the one reveal at the dinner table at the end where he's like, I wasn't really born in Nigeria. I was born in Cameroon. And it's
Moved
like,
at 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Was that an actor? Was that a guest star?
that was old mate KMR again.
Okay.
But playing the mother, Cheryl Monroe, was Patty Lupone. Patty Lupo.
The Patty LePlo?
Lupone?
Yes.
I saw that in the credits, but I'm not sure of her work.
She plays the Yellow Diamond in Steven Universe.
Oh, okay. The angry one.
And she also plays Frank Rossitano's mother in 30 Rock.
Oh, I love
Nice.
her. Wow, you should have guessed. I don't think I should.
You're comparing their relationship to meatballs? Liz, I'd like you to leave.
I love Frank's mum. She's
Yeah.
good.
So, like, she's been in, like, a jillion other things,
Okay.
but, like, I felt like these were the, like, closest touch points for us.
I'm really happy now that I think that Yellow Diamond is
Frank's
mum. That makes a lot more sense. I love it.
That's fun, right?
Yeah.
And just quickly, the other guest star for this episode was Terry Gross, who you might know from all the NPR and NPR podcasts, and she was in this episode for all of 3 seconds.
To do an NPR podcast.
Yeah,
no
was
less.
there a joke because it said SNPR?
Springfield National Public Radio?
Springfield
And the whole
National?
joke was like she was grilling some climate change scientist, but in a real Terry Gross way.
Yeah.
It's just such a disappointing
Boring.
year. Yeah. Yes or no, would you watch this one again?
Well, I don't think I would there, fella. Unless on some sort of airborne mode of transportation, or was it suffering the after effects of too much liquor?
BT, what would you change?
I'd give it a point. There's things to be done here, but they didn't really go with any of them. That's kind of the disappointing thing. There's something to be said about Lisa finding her intellectual equals, but I just don't understand why she felt the need to lie about her own family. Just don't talk about them, or just say, oh, they're not really into this sort of thing. Let's move on and have dessert, pip pip. Just give us a reason for any of this to
Hooray.
collide or happen, or,
you said pip, pip.
Pip pip indeed.
My bad. They said hip hip.
I almost did. Yeah, that's really about it. There's no point, there's no conflict, there's no thrust of anything here. It all just kind of meanders, and then it ends with a get out of jail free card.
Jordan, what would you change?
I want to know more about the miniature horse.
Yep. What was its name? Does it like pats? Does it like ear scritches? Does it like carrots?
Is it smart or is it really dumb at the expense
Does
of
it
being
know
cute?
it's getting cuter?
Because it has like a diaper on it.
Yeah.
So does that mean like it's
Well, you've
not
got it
house
inside.
trained, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is it cute at the expense of being smart?
And
Is it
that
like
worth it?
genetically bred? Cruelly,
Ah.
like, you know, those like squashed face cats that like have breathing problems but are super cute.
Yep.
And it's like, what is the ethics behind that?
Where's the line here, people?
In short, Elliot, I have no good answer to this question. It's weird, right? Because it's like, maybe you could do this, but then I'm like, but that's that other Simpsons episode, like with
It launches into completely different things.
you know, Jeremy's Iron and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of that.
Or when Lisa goes to university.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, she even goes, Lisa Simpson, master of the double life.
yeah, it's kind of
And she falls
Little
asleep in
Gold
class. Come on.
Yeah. It's a bit of everything, and I'm like, how would you make this better? Oh, you would make it a Simpsons episode that's already been done?
Because really,
That's hard to say.
what is the point of this one? It feels like we've trod this ground before, but there's nothing new about this version.
I think you brought up an amazing point with the
thank
fact
you.
that Lisa's family that she's idolizing, there's just actually nothing to them. And there's so much more to gain out of that. And like, although it was kind of similar with the Allison story where there, like, admittingly wasn't much to her father, like, there was the whole storyline of Lisa trying to frame her for doing a bad job on her project.
Yeah, this
And-
is where she hates her for being better, and there's conflict there.
Whereas this one, it's just, it middles until it gets up until the Bart pad thing. So as for what I'd change, I'd make them somehow flawed.
Well, they almost do that when the father's like, oh no, we've got to move because my study is harmful effects on relocating on children.
Excellent
That was
line.
that was the best part of the episode.
Yeah, that was the best joke out of it. And it's like, okay, they're these intellectual people, but they suffer for it because they have to move around a lot. And there's a over-exaggerated example of what it costs to be these intellectuals. Is that maybe there's less time for their daughter. Maybe she's home alone all the time because they're always off doing their research grants or whatnot.
No,
Yeah.
there we go. There's the thing. Sam really wants to stay in Springfield now that she's met Lisa, so the conflict then becomes...
Oh, she just wants to stay somewhere.
So Sam now has to move in with the Simpsons, and Lisa, Web of Lies, then comes undone. Boom. It's ground they haven't really trod before, and even like with a similar
Or
premise.
be like, yeah, she's all sad because she just moves around. Sure, she's got these intellectual parents, but what she really wants is their attention, whereas
Yeah.
Lisa gets their attention whenever she
Yeah.
wants because they don't have anything else going on. They barely have their own lives.
BT, any other notes?
Just the one. When Lisa's walking through the fancy neighborhood, there's $50 marmalade store.
loved that.
And $100 marmalade store.
I really wanted to go in there and be like, what is up with this
A lot of gold in
marmalade?
that marmalade.
There were actually some decent sign gags. Wait for the social medias to see them. Jordan, any other notes?
We made marmalade once. We went to I think it was in Arcadia or like Brower Waters or similar to that, where you could pick your own mandarins, and then we had like 3 buckets worth, and so we made marmalade with them, and it was fucking amazing. You know how marmalade can be really sticky? If you add a little bit of cream cheese, for some reason that melts marmalade. Don't know what the science behind that is, but basically it makes it manageable to spread. And it's great. Oh my God, I'm the whitest guy alive. I just had this realization halfway through my sentence.
I was
Fuck.
picking mandarins in Arcadia, and we made some marmalade with some cream cheese.
Fuck me. White privilege is alive and well, people, if you weren't fucking aware.
Just 'cause you made marmalade.
Did you know a group of white people is called a podcast?
Collective nouns, they're fascinating.
I mean,
I think a collective noun for a group of podcasts is a subscribe. It's hard to say is a subscribe.
I was going to say
Is a subscribe.
a milk toast of podcasters. All right. Okay. Final notes for me. Jordan's final notes. It doesn't have a theme song. There is ominous music at the credits, and then the fucking Thanos opening credits, couch gag. Fuck that. And then the dust and Maggie because he uses her pacifier as an infinity. Oh my god.
Trendy.
Fucking hate it. Hey, there's some real hamster cruelty in this episode. They fucking kick that hamster ball right out of the bus. That hamster is dead for sure.
But again, retreading the same ground. The hamster gets picked off by a hawk when Lisa has her back turned. This was fucking from the Hank Scorpio episode.
Yeah. Did I not say as soon as she let that hamster out of the ball, I'm like, car. Oh, no, eagle. Even better. Great. Awesome work. Simpsons writers. Bravo.
Car would have at least been original for them.
Yeah. The detail on the food when she goes to the other family's house.
Someone was hungry that day.
It's amazing. Like, if you watch this in 720p or above, you're going to be hungry, my friend.
I think they pickled those drawings of the jalapenos.
Yeah, it was great. I did like the kind of visual gags of Sam's mum writing down her quips in Sam's pearls.
Yeah.
And then her writing down her quips in Chairman Mums.
Chairman Moms.
I mean, brushing and glossing over like the extreme atrocities that a certain dictator committed. I have a note here that is marked as a Jordan's anal corner.
Marked as a Jordan's anal corner.
Help me decipher this, boyos. It just says eye holes.
You're not going to touch my eye holes.
The letter I or like...
No, eye holes is in like...
Oh, I had this down as well
Okay.
as an Elliot's anal corner.
Elliot, you know what?
Ralph says he's got 5 face holes.
That's right. You have 7.
7.
Yes. Your eyes count as eye holes.
They're more like sockets.
Yeah, if you don't have eyes.
Sockets aren't holes.
Yeah,
you can
but
suck it.
More like
the
gaps.
the open pipe connects up to your nose and mouth. They're fucking
Also,
holes.
I do have eyeballs,
Haven't you
therefore I don't have
seen
holes.
the Tokyo Shock Boys where the guy he squirts the milk out of his eye? It's all connected. With your nose, your eye, your mouth, it's all in one.
Yeah, but if you have eyeballs, you don't have a hole.
I hated that. This is where the sign writers fucked up. They have lard lad, and then they have lean lad holding up the fish, and then they have low fat lad holding up the yogurt.
Lean lad was enough.
Lazy lad. That's what they should have called it.
Labored lad.
Yeah, that's even better. See, this is the kind of writer's room like going around brainstorming that they should have had in this episode.
And 2 of us have gone insane.
Down arrow joke that just says beer joke. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what addiction's like. I'm going to drink 5 beers now because I don't know what addiction's like. I'm Homer. Then he takes a shit on the floor. Time for my final notes.
That's just in. Elliot's final notes. Right over to Elliot. Elliot.
I actually kind of like the way Lisa's imagination worked with covering what her family could be, like Homer being a sculptor, Marge being a chemist. That seems apt. And, you know, Maggie being a lecturer. She doesn't talk. That's fine.
In non-verbal communication.
That's right.
The only bit I liked about that was Bart like, oh, no, I don't have a and he starts to shake his fist, but then the bubble is already fading away.
But then later when he goes, woohoo, I don't exist. That's what I'd like to be. And no.
He loves existing. It's basically all he does.
Man, that's some dark shit.
Yeah. Lovejoy was sneaking out to temple late at night.
Oh, yeah, what the fuck was that
I
about?
missed that one.
Yeah, he's just wearing a yarmulke and sneaking out through the window of a synagogue, and it's just like, why? I don't know where the logic in that was funny. And my only other note is when Marge was like scolding Homer and telling him, read off this card, there was a really bad side on where their eyes were like only as wide if they were in like a 3/4 turning away side on. Anyway, season 30 from this little dive today has just surprised me with how bad the animation is. Like we've always said with the HD era, it looked slick, but there was just something a bit, zombie Simpsons about it. But I think all of these episodes today that we've watched have had several off-character model moments that have made it look terrible.
But it feels like they're trying to take it in a new direction of like, hey, we're trying to be modern and cool.
Yeah.
Damn it, don't be cool. It's hip to be square.
Season 30 feels like we've got to remain relevant somehow, and that is by using modern references like saying woke. Please don't do that. Like using GIF reactions. And it was a strange, weird ride to be a part of, Elliot. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I like it less or more than HD Simpsons.
It's time to rank this thing.
Well, golly gosh.
What was this episode about again?
Jordan, you're first.
You know what? Again, that first episode spoiled me. That was a real hate watch, and that was such an easy failure. This is a participant. When you're at a doctor's waiting room and there's a TV playing, and it's like Tonic TV or something like that, and there's images and sound emanating from that box, but it just washes over you. And this is as participant-y as it gets. I don't understand what happened. We've talked about it for what seems like an hour and a half.
It's like you've been neuralized.
This is I got the flashy thing from Men in Black.
Neuralizer.
Yeah. Jesus, Elliot, what have you done to my brain?
Neuralized.
BT, what do you reckon?
Look, this is a straight up participant for me. It's white noise coming out of the wireless. It's just nothing there. And I feel so little for it, I couldn't even hate it. There's no merits, negative or positive, to really tilt it either way. So it's completely meh. It's a participant. Elliot, over to you.
I'm failing it. I hate this thing. The fact that it's very well-trodden ground isn't so bothering to me in that they didn't do anything.
You can
with
tread
it.
the same ground as long as you do something with it and come out with a decent episode. Sure.
Yeah, and I totally get where you guys are coming from with the participant rating but for me, I feel like this one was a bit more egregious.
Is it that you just hate life right now after watching four of these? You're just like, I'm done with The Simpsons. Why did I even start a fucking Simpsons podcast?
Look,
because, God, this is ruining my life.
I think this is a fair way. This is how some people deal with the Wasteland. Some people just forget all about it. Some people start taking on different accents and becoming different people. And some people dive into the hates
Actually,
just to get
credit.
through.
You have maintained, for the most part.
Hell yeah, I have, fella.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some reprieve from the Treehouse because at least, we can accept the conceit of those episodes that they're meant to be a bit wacky and far out and a departure.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just can't wait to see what they come up with.
Yeah. We'll get into that, but for now, this will average out into a dull participant. And just throwing back to the other Wastelands of dull participants we did in them.
And boy, it's dull.
Yeah, speaking of boys, the Boys of Bummer, where Bart...
Oh, he gets shat on for missing that catch in the baseball game or whatever? Yeah, fuck that episode.
And the Blunder Years with Waylon Smithers Sr.
Oh!
I failed that one if I recall correctly.
You sure did,
You
sir.
sure did, purely for the... Hey, Chief Wiggum, it's us, The Simpsons.
I failed it for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And also Puffless, which was Selma and Patty quitting
Try to quit
smoking.
smoking,
And
yeah.
also Maggie's Disney adventure rescuing...
That was the only thing that saved that from failure, I swear to God.
Yeah, I still failed it because it wasted both opportunities.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we end this episode, is that reputation justified?
Is that...
Why now? Is that reputation justified?
And Dennis Perkins from the AV Club.
Why, it's Dennis the Wildcard Perkins. What does he have to say?
Okay, do you want to... Let's take bets on what he gives this.
I'm going to say he calls this one of the most heartwarming episodes of The Simpsons he's ever seen.
I'm going to guess C+.
Dennis Perkins gave this a D+.
Oh! I didn't realize they gave plus rankings for Ds.
Why, that's a shot through the heart.
And you're to blame.
Dennis is to blame.
He gives The Simpsons a bad name.
Lisa's a tough character to write for, not because her smarts make her better than everyone else, but because her awareness of the world's absurdities can't shield her from being irrevocably...
Irrevocably?
Thank you. Part of it. And say what you want about the good old days, but when there's a legacy of writing great Lisa stories and you botch this one this badly, the failure is that much more glaring.
Wow, Dennis.
And I think that's actually really on parity with what I said.
The fact that we gave it, a shiny, dull participant and it got a D+ is pretty apt.
Well, yeah, because dull participants C average for them. And D+ is shiny failure, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
Man, I've never seen Dennis give such a low ranking, I don't think.
I know.
I love the wild card. I'm just not going to lie. You just never know.
You never know.
I mean, Rob Canning is a beast unto himself, a beast master, ultimate ninja to himself. But Dennis, sometimes I feel like he's on meds and off meds.
And sometimes I don't even think he exists.
He's actually a great follow on Twitter, I gotta say.
I think he's a bunch of cats taped together.
He's like an AI. He's like that AI.
Jesus Christ. I gotta try and get him on an episode one time. It can't be that hard. All right, guys. Well, look, that does it for the season 30 Wasteland. Join us next week for Treehouse of Horrorthon Wasteland edition. Until then, that's been Jordan Frost. That's been BT Calloway.
Which one of us is insane again?
We'll see you in the second half of the Wasteland next week. That's all that must in this part of the Wasteland.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can chat to us online at facebook.com/thesimpsonsindex or at Simpsons Index on Twitter and Instagram. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes!
Everyone do a little bit of talkie talks.
I'm doing the talkie talks. I like ye do. Da cha cha. Also, I think earlier, Jordan, you and I both synchronized sounds.
Oh, maybe.
So,
We're just going to have to try and do a little bit more of that.
So fun editing that, Elliot. Sorry.
How many fictional wasteland pits can we think of? Because there's the Sarlacc pit, I'm thinking.
There's the pit in Fallout 3, but that's just Pittsburgh.
Oh.
That's literally what it's called. The pit.
That's
there's Pit Town. That's way out in the wasteland.
I used to live out near there.
I know, I'm making a sad joke. I'm very sorry. That's what I will say. This episode is a very memey episode because it pulls a lot of modern stuff out of it.
Yeah, it's like me when I'm warming up my vocals. Me. BT,
10 points to Elliot.
And I'm the drunk one here.
It's a wall of beige for beige.
It's
like beige,
my cousin, yeah.
but beige. And they had Veep on there, which is a multi-Emmy award-winning show. Everyone knows that exists.
And have you ever watched it?
I tried to get back into it. It's just it's the Trump effect, man. It's
yeah, real life is too absurd.
Yeah, and it's even House of Cards, which, admittingly is a show that just went to shit. Despite the fact that we had to cancel Kevin Spacey. But that show, failed to be, a political thriller because it's not as thrilling as...
Well, the funny thing about Veep is we just watched one of the episodes in season 1. There's a bit where they're trying to woo an Arizona senator, and they're talking about, if your neighbors did all this stuff, you'd maybe build a fence. You're not getting a wall. You're not getting a fence. And
Holy shit.
Oh, fuck. When was this made again? 2012? This is the Obama era. This is when Obama was still making fun of Trump being a presidential candidate. And then it happened. And then everything is just flipped on its head. And now I don't know what world I'm living in anymore.
Oh, Arrested Development, one of their big plot points in season 4 was the fucking wall and how ridiculous that was.
It's nuts. And what happened to this world?
I think it's going to be revealed that, America is just as a network now, and this was just a show.
Yeah, this was a giant, season 2019
crossover between
spoiler.
Arrested Development and Veep.
What season would this be now? When did they form? 1788? No, that can't be right.
I mean, the entire American
Yeah.
continent.
Every year has been a season up until now.
That's their best rating season so far.
Yeah.
True.
It's true. It's hard to take your eyes off.
Huge. Yeah. It just makes me really nihilistic. Why do we even live? What's the point of even doing anything?
It's when you don't care about knees.
No, it's when you trip over it going up a hill and you hit your knee on a rock.
If you don't believe in horses, you're nihilistic.
Jesus.
Horses amount to
I
nothing.
thought that's when you don't believe in sharp, pointy things that are used for holding walls together. Nihilistic.
It's when I don't believe that science guy. Nihilistic.
Bill Nihilistic.
And Rodney Ho of AGC, he gave the episode an A. I don't know how the AGC's alphabet
I think
works.
it's like golf rules, A. Wait, no, the opposite of golf rules. It's baseball rules or any other sports rules.
that uses letters, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
A, void this one.
C. It's a hexadecimal system.
A for avoid. I'm like an F for fuck yeah.
0 is the best, and F is the worst. Some of the best Simpsons moments. Some of the best moments.
Why, there's the madness.
From around the TV table. What, the TV table? The dinner table.
Yes.
Quite sorry, I put mercury in your drink now.
Hey, that is the end of my boo. I'm a ghost notebook.
Oh my god. Jordan's final notes.
You didn't have to throw away the pen with it.
Oh, yeah. Shit, that's all right. I've got a Mario one that it's not college ruled, but it's grid lined.
Ooh.
So now I can do maths equations on the fly.
Rad. But yeah, you bought that with Nintendo points.
I did. I was tossing up, do I get flannels, face cloths, or do I get that? And in the end, I got both because I had so many Nintendo points to use.